Hello, everyone, and welcome into tonight's wrap-up episode of Skald. I will be your host this evening, Backstage Bard, a bard named Ray, and this are our lovely cast that's going to be here tonight. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Wonderful, and so glad to be here. Chat, thank you for joining us. We are here tonight to celebrate what has been the long and beautiful story that is Skald. On August the 22nd, or August the 31st of 2022, the first YouTube video went up. Over 250 plus hours later and 121 episodes, the Jotun Slayers completed their quest, brought balance to the world of Thorin, and overall just had a really great story. It was just so much fun to just watch on a personal basis, to start from the very beginning, see the entire campaign. So I am very excited to be here and to be hosting and asking the questions that you have provided. That's right, you, the very chat that is here with us this evening. Those of you who have been active in the Discord, you have been posting questions, wanting to know the nitty-gritty, the deep, dark secrets, the things that have been a shrug in the past. No more shrugs tonight, ladies and gentlemen. She's, theys, and every which ways. Strap in or strap on, because we are going to have ourselves a fun episode tonight. But before we get into that, I would love to go around and, of course, have all of our players introduce themselves, the characters that they played this last campaign, and a little bit of info about what they'd like to share. We're going to go ahead and start with Tyler. Go for it.
Well, I don't know, man.
Who are you and what did you play?
Who'd you play?
Well, I know.
Who am I?
Who am I?
Crisis, man.
Where am I?
What, man?
What do I do with my teeth? I am Gunny. Snorrison. I played a Vidalcan artificer wizard with a splash of rogue. Oops,
Just
all
a
rogues.
splash.
Just a splash. Just wanted to get in there to get it was flavor. It was a flavor class.
Fantastic and awesome. Thank you. And then right down to Emmy.
Oh, hi, I'm Emmy, and I played Nifrim Colburn. Right there, somewhere. I was an artificer / rogue. I never got beyond level 3 in rogue, but I was having a good time with that artificer level.
All you need is a subclass. You're fine.
Fantastic. And then
I'm
next
duplicated.
to Josh. Oh, yeah. And
Me?
duplicated.
Uh-oh.
Emmy's. Oh.
What?
It's all right. There you go.
Hearing
My bad.
double?
It's fixed.
Oh, no.
Sexy.
We're good.
I can't hear Steve. Steve, are you talking?
Uh-oh.
Do you have my
Oh.
stream muted in Discord?
In Discord.
In Discord, make sure the stream's not muted. Or my screen share, rather. Check.
I do not hear
Check.
Steve.
Oh, wait.
So he
check
can't
in
hear you
Discord,
say that.
Ray.
Yeah, in Discord,
The
make sure his
stream.
stream's not muted.
That's a good point.
Yep, that's great.
Check.
Here's your whole thing.
You good?
Okay, I
Can
can
you
hear
hear?
Steve.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool. All good.
Is it me now?
You good, Ray?
Uh-oh.
Yes,
Okay,
Josh.
all right.
Sorry,
Moving
all
on.
technical issues.
It's all good. It's all
Moving
good.
on.
Hey,
Josh,
it wouldn't
go
be
ahead.
for Lord without.
Well, I'm Josh, and I played Centerac, and I was actually a barbarian and rogue and a fighter, and it was pretty dope.
Wonderful.
And I arm wrestled a
And
lot. I
arm
fought a lot
wrestled.
of peeps. Yeah,
And animals. Can't forget
Yeah.
about the animals.
found the love
So-
of my life.
Love of life. And then up to Sam.
Hello, I'm Sam, and I played Marcus. A paladin, and unlike the rest of them, I didn't multi-class because I know how to stay in one lane.
Striving
And,
for
I
no-
found your one lane.
Yeah, I can do that too.
Ooh, the burns are already started. The heat is rising. Love it.
Yeah!
Let the girls fight. All right. And then
Grr.
last but certainly not least, the person who thought of all this and brought it all together, Steve.
Boo.
Wow, that guy sounds like an asshole. Hi, friendly neighborhood DM Steve here, although not for long. I don't know what I'm gonna go by on the internet anymore. Am I gonna be Forge Lore player Steve? I don't know. Am I still gonna be DM Steve? I don't know. All I know is I'm now gonna call her DMmy.
I like it.
I like that. It's hot. It works.
So hot.
Well,
Also,
again,
you'll have a
thank you.
character name, Steve.
Yeah. Maybe. Possibly.
Yeah, I could go by
Not
that.
yet, chat. That's not the focus tonight. Tonight, it's all about Skald. And so we are here to talk about it. And again, want to start off this evening, kind of break the ice a little bit. Again, we're here at the end from starting off finding a weird looking battery that seemed to summon gods to saving an entire planet and defending against an invading population of Earthlings from capitalism. You know, we had a adventure. So my first question to everyone, and we'll kind of again go around to whoever wishes to speak up first, but definitely want to hear from all of you. What surprised you the most about your characters, and how did they end up diverging from your initial character concepts? And so just kind of like as you were envisioning these characters, you know, you're at that session 0 to where they ended up, how would you say that they differed, or, you know, did they end up how you thought they would? And Steve, for you, I'd say the same with the gods and kind of that AI, you know, the personalities, did they differ at all from the original? So we'll go ahead and just open it up if anyone wants to speak first, but I'm very curious.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Steve.
No, you go first. You made a noise.
Okay.
Amy, you have been voluntold.
I guess. For Nifrim, I started her as being super, super fucking socially awkward, and I ended with her being super, super socially fucking awkward. And she made progress in a lot of different ways, but I really enjoyed playing a character who's like, oh, I'm bad at jokes. I don't know what to do in this situation. This is awkward. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, I loved playing that character. It's fun.
I would say she went from, you know, again, being in a hole to literally staring a man down in what is probably a fate worse than death. So
Yeah.
that to me says character growth, you know, if anything.
Yeah. For sure. That was a fun arc to play.
Just a little bit. What about you, Josh? What about Cedric?
Oh, I mean, Cedric was supposed to start like super serious, broody, like, oh, I just got kicked out of my town, and I immediately chased some kids down and scared them, so I immediately went goofy with it. And yeah, I went from like a goofy drunk to hitting on everyone to like kind of finding that I have a group of friends with me, and, you know, finding family and friendship and love and shit. So I was like, all right, kind of warped into something a little bit more mature, I think.
I'm sure we'll get to it, and I think I actually have a question about it, but the complete change, and I think one of the bigger gags of the season was the throwing the sword just into the water. I think everyone at the table was just kind of mouths open. So to even change from that original concept to kind of where you ended up in the story was always fun for me to see as a viewer, just because it's like, you literally like, I've got a sword of a god.
Yeah, that was Josh's idea, by the way. He wrote Hofed. I named it by looking up the sword of Heimdallr, but he said it was a shard of Heimdallr's sword, and I'm like, hey, yeah, that sounds awesome. And then you threw it in the ocean.
Gone. Yay. All right. So
Sorry,
no,
DM.
fantastic moment though, and again, that's kind of we love
great.
that. I think whenever we're playing something, you know, it's always like, oh, like, is this, you know, in the moment? Am I doing something? Oh, what is this? We got to redeem. Ask a question. What is that?
Why is
redeem
that
real quick?
on? Yeah.
When did you know your characters had grown, and do you think you have... Okay, so we'll definitely get to that one just after this one. I think we can kind of tie those in a little bit. But so with Sam and Marcus,
Right
like,
over
what do
your
you...
face.
Yeah, I'm
What do
gonna
you
change
think
that.
in... No, it's fine. So for Marcus, in terms of them as a character, again, you kind of stayed the same class. You definitely had the revenge from the beginning, which seemed like you definitely got. Do you feel like there was much change for Marcus, or do you feel like that arc in terms of vengeance was fulfilled? How do you feel about that?
Well, for me, like, I always imagined, you know, after he got his revenge, he'd hang out just long enough to, like, you know, help everybody finish the storyline, and then, like, the end would be, yeah, he went off and he died in glorious battle. So, like, right at the end, like, after I got the revenge and stuff, I was like, yeah, but that doesn't seem like what he would do anymore. Like, maybe it's just in my head, but I was like, no, he shouldn't do that. He should become something more.
Which I think is definitely bigger, you know, because again, I think when we all first meet Marcus, he's that very much like, I'm just here to fight, here to do all this,
Yeah.
but then definitely taking that, like, what can I actually do? How can I actually add? What about Gunny? What about Gunny, Tyler? How did they kind of shift in the episodes?
Oh my god, thanks for the sub, Double O.
Oh, yeah. So Gunny's change has been pretty big, in my opinion. From being timid and lacking a lot of boldness, being able to get out there and do certain things, I think his character growth, like, came out at the end, being more assertive, being more sure of himself, and really finding out who he was gave him strength to be the person he could be.
Gotcha. And then for Steve, I guess, in terms of the gods and kind of how they ended up interacting with the world, how the players ended up rolling, like, do you feel like there was any, like, much shift in kind of how they were as kind of characters, or was that kind of something you felt like you kind of stuck with for a bit?
Not much change from their initial, like, my initial conception of them. They were always AI. I, like, for example, Loki was always meant to kind of be that red herring of villain, but not really. He's always supposed to kind of chide them on. Really the only god that kind of changed, and it was kind of in the moment, was Tyr, there at the end. I did not mean for him to, I meant for him to be more kind of serious, but I started having fun, and it came through the character, and then I just embraced it, and he went all yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
That was unintentional, but it was fun.
It was fun. No,
it
it
was
was
really just a
definitely fun.
replacement for me.
I mean, to me, and again, in those last few episodes, whenever you kind of, like, let the gods just kind of crank it a little bit in terms of Loki just going, nah, boom. Or, like, you know, just kind of letting the gods have that little bit of, like, we're defending this planet because that was our initial, like, programming. And so to be able to see that, though, was kind of fun from, like, what are these? Oh my God, they're disappearing into dust. Wait a minute. Wait just a hot minute here.
I dropped breadcrumbs from the beginning, the whole dusting
You definitely
thing.
did.
Yeah.
You definitely did.
I
Especially
tried
when
to make it
the
rewatchable.
And I think they're at, I know Josh and Letty were watching it. I think Emmy started rewatching it. So definitely, I know some people have gone back now. It's like, okay, now that I know that it's all computers. You know, what does that do on the second watch? And that to me is always fun. But to go back to Letty's question, was there a moment, like an episode or just a specific thing where you were playing your character and you were like, oh yes, this is their character growth moment. This is it. We'll go ahead and start with Sam. Say that as you take a drink. So.
Yeah, it was the episode where he got, like, his final revenge, and then he saw all that money, and he's like, Ah, I can do things with this. And then I molded over the week until we started playing again. I'm like, now I've, and I just kept formulating more and more of a plans, but that was the exact moment. I was like, cha-ching! What can I do?
All right, and Josh.
Oh, I'd have to say the first moment. Actually, I might have my timeline mixed up. The first moment was when I almost died, and both Gunny, Emmy, Sam all came to my rescue. And it was a very oh, I have friends. I'm not in this by myself kind of thing. And then second moment was when I throw Hofid into the lake. Was that mixed? Did I get that right? Did I get the
No,
right?
that's
about
I think
right.
that's good.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, episode 100 was a good one.
Yeah.
I almost died there too.
That's true.
And that was
In
a whole
your plot.
turning moment. I saved my mom. But honestly,
Oh my
it was almost like I had already gotten past kind of that trauma, if you could say, right?
Yeah.
And I was
Right.
like, oh, now I have friends, and now I don't need this stupid sword because fuck the gods kind of thing.
Am I right?
Love that.
That's me.
And then, what about you, Gunny?
It's not far from the Citrix episode where he was dying a lot. When I found my sister, I think that first glimpse of family was really the turning point in figuring out Gunny and having motive and having something left beyond what the Oaten Slayers were for.
Love that. And Emmy.
I think the moment that I realized Nifrim was growing was when we were in the Scavvy hideout, and the jokes about her sleeping in the sand finally got to her, and she was like, fuck it, I'm gonna tell you what happened. And it's something she never would have shared with anyone else. But these knuckleheads got into her head that, hey, they're here for the long haul. I might as well be real. And she stopped lying about who she was. Because there were, if you go back and watch, several times where I, as Nifrim, lied about things that had happened and people I'd talked to.
And I think, again, it's always fun to, as a viewer, to kind of have those moments where you get that little bit of ooh, I can tell that something's happening here on the player side. It's always fun to kind of delve into that a little bit. So I want to kind of shift, though, as we've, had our question here. I want to hear from Steve for a little bit. And this is actually a question that was asked both by Josh and by OG. And the question was there anything that you as a DM added on the fly that turned into a cool / unique arc or story, even unintentionally? It was just you added something random and all of a sudden there's a mini arc about it, or a couple of episodes or something where it's just oh, wait, how did we get here?
Probably the closest to that might be Mimir, the cat. It was just kind of a throwaway thing of it's a cat in the shop that remembers people and remembers the bad customers and warns the elderly owner about it. And then Nif gave Sideric the necklace of animals, speak with animals. And it turned into a whole fucking thing, and I loved it. It was really fun playing it, and playing off of Josh with that was so much fun. Especially with the shield, when he rolled that 1 on the initials thing. And I'm like, oh, that's a dick and balls. That's a dick and balls.
That was my idea. You're welcome.
True.
I think it's always fun whenever, as a DM, you make that one NPC that isn't supposed to matter. You add that one little thing, and all of a sudden, it's your player's favorite thing.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean,
I do love a
immediately
kitty.
we gotta poke the bear. We gotta press the red button, do whatever we have to do to enjoy the enjoy the character.
One smaller thing that was like very early was the whole idea was that the gods were going to show up around them because of the radiant capacitor, it radiating energy. And then you immediately stuffed it in a bag of holding, sending it to another plane. And I'm like, well, shit. I guess it radiates interdimensionally now? Sure. Why not? Yep.
It works.
That's how it works. Science.
Sure. Science. I think that was, but I mean, as we get to the end of it, though, I mean, you make canon because, I mean, at the same time, it's like if spells are just high level tech, then what is a bag of holding if just, you know?
Yeah, I figure it actually does make a pocket dimension. I mean, obviously there's interdimensional stuff with the Nif hole and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's theoretically possible. Why not?
Respect to the Nif hole. We love
over.
It smells like farts. In
It
there.
smells like
And
farts.
I can't. Sideric!
So, speaking of Sideric,
Oh, I thought you were going to say Nif's hole. Go on.
speaking of Sideric, Josh, this was a
Yes.
question from Emmy, actually, to you about Sideric. How did you end up finding Hofud? What was the origin story of you getting this sword? Like, how did you actually
How I
find it?
became a barbarian.
No. After you threw it in the ocean, how did you find
Yeah,
it?
like,
recovered it.
sorry. How you recovered it at the end. Let me.
Yeah.
How did you get it back? The origin,
phrased
like,
that poorly.
because apparently because you said that you like got it and it's on your mantelpiece, you know, as a
Right,
promise.
as an anniversary gift. Yes.
Yeah,
You asshole. I was going to make that a
sorry.
special
I'm sorry.
Hertha moment, but you
I like
Uno
Josh's
reversed
better.
me. I did too, honestly.
I like Josh's better.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this was actually, this is how this went. Nifrim was like, what if, sent me a DM, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna use that because that works perfectly. She showed me some items I didn't even know I had in my inventory. I was like, oh yeah, I do have that. Yep,
You
that's
forgot?
right. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
So
It was a special moment for Nifrim and Sideric.
It was
I know,
the
I'm sorry. The Candle of the Deep.
Handle of the deep. That's it.
Allows me so I mean, I thought the elephant token and also the cat thing was a very special moment. That's the special moment I remember with Nifrim.
What?
And also
Cat
the
thing?
jewelry. So I can talk to animals. It's specifically used to
yes.
talk to a cat. I
Yes,
don't use it
yes.
for any. Oh wait, I used it to talk to a
used
cow.
it for Moogles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Moogles was
Anyways, to
awesome.
answer your
Another
question, 'cause I
fun
was-
moment that came out of
I was-
nowhere. I pulled out my
Yeah,
ass.
I was totally not delaying trying to look for what Nif sent me. So she gave me the Candle of the Deep, which will allow me to, it stays lit underwater so we could see underwater. Marcus let me borrow the Helm of Water breathing, so I was able to breathe underwater. And
Technically
then
it's a
I dropped my pride and I had a conversation with Heimdallr. And I was like, hey, I need your help. I know I threw your sword away. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I need
Daddy.
it back.
Daddy,
Can you
sorry.
help? So he helped me look in the general direction. He kind of pointed his finger and I went under there. And we could say there were quite a lot of dangers under there. There were sharks I had to punch, whales I had to talk to, have a
Damn.
communication with. Yeah, I was punching fish and whipping around eels and beating fish with other fish. It was fantastic. And then
I'm imagining you using an eel as nunchucks, and I'm loving it.
it's electric. Yes, 100%. And then
Got
I came back to it.
unimpeded, like, was it unimpeded movement where
Yeah,
is
unimpeded
it,
movement.
Yeah, where you're not slowed down by water.
Yeah.
It's just like normal.
It's like a cartoon.
Yeah, fantastic. Tie two fish tails together, they're nunchucks
Yes.
now. We love that. So, I guess with all that technology, though, that does kind of bring up a question that I kind of wanted to ask Nifrim. And this is for kind of as you fully embraced your Colburn heritage, right? And as you fully accept that portion of your life back once everything seems to kind of be going back to normal, is there anything that you specifically would champion for or change in terms of how your family conducts business? Like anything that you would whisper into your brother's ear to be like, listen, we should change this. Now that I'm management, this is something that I've had a complaint for a while, you know?
Yeah, I think she definitely would have focused or tried to focus the Colburn attentions more on, instead of trying to sell the tech as like illusory and, you know, glamour stuff like originally CTR was doing, you know? I think she would focus more on innovating the tech and trying to make it something that can be utilized for the planet itself, as opposed to just, here, you can make your house look pretty, or you can put this on your armor, you know? I think she definitely would focus on making it more practical.
Gotcha. So not necessarily, you know, ooh, this is going to sell because it looks pretty, more like actual everyday use.
Yes, changing for the better.
Improving lives.
As opposed to...
Like, moving away from the vanity of rich people.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much.
Screw them.
I do have
a rich
question. Yeah, I have a question for the rich people down the road. We'll hold on. We'll put a button in that, but I do have a question for the Richies. I wanted to ask though, thinking of all of Thorin, because again, we now have all of this technology, right? And as everyone knows, as soon as a society gets technology, it ramps up exponentially. If all of you, and this is a question for all of you, could change one thing about Thorin that is different from Earth, what would you change? Because again, now it's going to be Earth Plus with all this tech. So is there anything that y'all would add or think would be cool?
No corporations.
Steve says no corporations. Marcus, you're out of business. Sorry about that.
Corporations aren't bad. It's the people who are in charge of them are bad.
Yeah, you're in
Sure.
charge of a corporation.
Sounds like something. Yeah, that
shit.
sounds like a CEO.
Maybe corporations, but they all have to be owned by, like, it can't be like a CEO situation. It has to be like a publicly
A
funded
board.
company.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a CEO of a protection firm, I believe that a council of people from all walks of life is a very good way to rule. To run your company. That's just personally me.
Interesting. Interesting.
I think public transportation would be the Earth Plus for me. I think teleportation would be super handy to get back and forth between
Publicly accessible transportation, making
Yes.
it actually more accessible for people to visit different realms and different areas of Thorin.
How fucking cool would it be if you were in New York and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna go visit Japan for a day and just fucking go there?
You get to decide if you want to take the normal teleport or the cannonball teleport.
Splash.
Yes.
It's actually really popular, I found out. I don't know. It seems like a lot of you would be surprised. But so Gunny, though, and Tyler, what would you change? What would be your change?
More equal opportunity as far as what anyone has access to. So if you wanted a house that could be bigger on the inside than it was on the outside, but all you ever lived in before was a shack, okay, keep your shack, but now you can have a mansion on the inside. Or a swimming pool on the inside, who knows?
Hey, Matt.
I think that would probably be my one change, would be equal opportunity on everything.
I imagine once, again, all the AI starts working, and again, this teleportation happens, Thorin will become a little bit more mixed in terms of elves and, dwarves, and the elves maybe getting more exposure because those things just happen over time. And I always love it in fantasy shows when there's like a door, and there's a door for someone that's like maybe giant sized, and then a door that's like built into it that's a little bit smaller, that's, like a minotaur size and human, then, dwarf, and just all the way down, just to kind of like give everyone the type of door they want to enter. So that's always fun to kind of add inclusivity, and also just being able to, make things a little bit easier for the people who live on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What about you, Josh? What's Sidric add?
Honestly, I would say using the technology that like the scavengers have found and everything now that, especially as we save the world, we have additional technology, we have all of this new information, to use that to educate new people, right? That as people become born, they actually are educated with the technology, not just provided with it. In real life scenarios, we have people out in the country who you give them a computer and they think, oh, shiny screen, oh, I can watch Netflix on this. Like, educate them with the technology that as we learn, they learn too.
So free education.
Yes.
I think that also will help.
Education in general.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to like bring about the ideas of like, hey, you know what? Maybe you don't have to just be with elves all the time. The racist people that just feel like you only got to be with elves.
We could introduce the internet.
It's actually like teaching the children a concept. Yes, Emmy.
Just real quick, I saw OG in chat. What about ending slavery? Yes, I actually had a discussion with Steve about that. Forgot to mention, Nifrim would not have slavery anymore at the Colburn estate. She would do fair wages. They have enough money to be able to do that, and actually pay the people who are working there. So yeah, that was on my list.
No more thrall.
Yay!
I mean, they seem to actually be pretty happy, those thrall. I tried to get them to come with me, and they're like, no. Like,
That's because you were some weirdo.
I am not some weirdo. I'm Sidric.
Same thing.
They didn't know that.
Also, they would have been severely punished.
What about you, Sam? What's the thing you would add or change?
That was my ending. Protection and from the evils of the world. That's for everybody. And it's not tied to any nationality or anything like that. So they just are there to help, regardless.
Open and free protection.
I do I have
open,
a follow-up.
free state.
I have a follow-up for that, because this was actually my question in regards to your company. So, you said that they, offer not just guard service and not just fighting. I think that was something that you mentioned to the Kings.
Yeah.
So what other social services does your company provide? Do they provide, healthcare, clerics? Do they provide housing and building structures? Like, how far does their public service public?
They, like I said, they have all kinds of different specialty services. So one of the things that I definitely thought of was disaster management, and then rebuilding efforts after the disaster has been abated and everything's been cleaned up. Like one of the things that I also mentioned is the company helping, rebuild Sidric's town. So they would basically be a catch-all for whatever they have in the area. So if they have clerics in the area or paladins, health services, and if there's especially in disasters, they would cluster as many different specialities as possible to do as much help, in the rebuilding and any other kind of services that those people need until they're back on their feet and the economy has been restarted and re-rolled.
So kind of FEMA. We're a little FEMA-ish.
A FEMA that works.
A little bit of everything, yeah.
A little bit of everything. Okay.
As they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people join, I saw them as just being like a catch-all for everything.
Gotcha. All right.
One of the things that I forgot to mention, in the actual ending, was that they are the servants of the people, not just the protectors of the people.
Controlling, yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they are there to do whatever they can, like, like Thor. He is the protector of the people. They are the protector of the people. And they are servants like Marcus was.
Damn, Double O.
Tyler! 10
Damn, Tyler.
subs! Fuck!
Jesus.
Skald,
Thank
friends.
you. Skald.
Marcus saw himself as a servant, so he made sure that the company, thought process was always, we're here to serve everybody else. We are not here to control or, anything like that.
Love that. All right, so the next question is going to be for Steve. Again, I feel like, I actually have a lot for Steve, and so did a lot of people. So I feel like we got to, revisit Steve a little bit more often than not. So just going to sprinkle in the Steve. I want to ask you real quick, in terms of, the creation of Thorin, and this is actually from Tyler had this question. Were there any specific source books, works, concepts that you pulled from in terms of making Thorin? Was there one source over another that was the main focus, like movies, books? Like where did this idea first pop into your head?
So Skald is literally just everything I like combined. The kind of vibe was the first thing I got, and that was while watching Tales from the Loop. I really enjoy Simon Stålenhag. He also did Electric State. After the Flood, I think is the name of the other book. Anyway, he does that art where it's modern, 80s Americana paintings, but with defunct tech, like sci-fi tech in the background, just monoliths of unworking tech. And I'm like, that always fascinates me. And then the kind of plot was along the lines of Horizon Zero Dawn, as far as, medieval society interacting with high-tech stuff left over.
Right.
And I will say, with the Earthlings coming in at the end, last year before we got to that, we were still a few months out from that reveal. I played Forbidden West.
Easy.
The second. Yeah, I played the second Horizon Zero Dawn, and I screamed at the TV, "Drop my Kool-Aid!" I was so mad. Because I'm like, that's me! That's stop! I swear I didn't take it from that. I had already decided they were coming back. Anyway. But yeah, it's everything I like. And I went Norse and Vikings, because everyone does the English medieval. And
Right.
I've never been that
Right.
interested in that culture. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but the Norse was always metal and brutal, and when you dig down into it, they were really a vibrant culture. They invented poetry.
And then their influence when they did invade, Britain, and they started doing the raids on the monasteries there, and then their culture kind of integrating
it
with
just
and
melded. And
Yeah.
I was always fascinated by that, and the more I researched, the more I loved it. But yeah, pretty much everything that I enjoy was stuffed into this. AI stuff, high-tech stuff. I'm always more sci-fi than I am fantasy, so it's just a bit of everything. But really, Horizon Zero Dawn and Simon Stålenhag were kind of the beginnings of the ideas, and it just went out to that.
Gotcha. I am going to hit you with a two-parter, though, because, again, there are so many questions for you. If this campaign had continued then, and there were, say, 100 more episodes, is there a different direction that you may have gone with this campaign, the further you got into it? And this is from Mira on Discord.
Oh, Mira. Not really. It was always so the mini arc was the first thought, and it kind of developed as I went. I had the general layout, and then I created details as we went along. And then about halfway through, I'm like, and then I think, the Earthlings should come back. It was always an Earth settlement.
Right.
But I was like, how cool would it be, freaking Norse culture fighting Earthling aliens, sci-fi aliens. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. It probably wouldn't have gotten... It was really all wrapped up. I mean, the only further that I would have gotten was, hey, do you guys want to go invade Earth?
Yes.
Right.
Which it was really the plan all along.
I love that. And again, I think that's always, when you have a story, you have an idea, you have a concept, and you're like, I want to be able to let my players get to where they want and where they need in the story, but also the world's still moving.
Yeah.
There's still a greater sense of urgency. So
it's always,
and every
the
little
gears are always working in the background while they're doing their thing. There's always something else going on.
You even mentioned that if there was like a full TPK, like Thorin probably would have been wiped off the face of the earth. It would have literally just been reset. So the stakes to up those stakes and to kind of add that sense of like what is happening in this planet, I feel like it's always fun as a DM to be able to be like, ooh,
I'd love
y'all don't know
like
y'all are spending a week on this, quest while y'all don't even know this is being burnt to the ground over here.
Y'all just chilling in Midgard while shit's happening up in orbit, huh? They're building a base near the fucking pivot. What's going on there?
Sure, that's fine.
So yeah, and again, it's always fun. So thank you for those answers. Tyler, I have a question for you now. And this is kind of, again, going along with this ending, and it kind of ties in with the future of Thorin as well. At the end, Gunny seems to be helping out a lot of people. Like, you're helping Nifrim, you're off helping Marcus, you're sometimes helping Cedric with stuff. Like, you're all over the place. So, between your own desires, your own free time, who do you hang out with the most?
Oh, man. I think
Who's your favorite
probably work related. I probably see Nifrim the most. Between Midgard and collaborating on technology. After that, I probably see Cedric the second, visiting the homestead and family. Marcus, I probably see Marcus the least, even though we probably have a lot of things tied in together with the agency and just different stuff. It's just, I'm here, he's there, and it's one of those moments where we hardly see each other, but when we do, it's a moment. It's a special time, opposed to, we got to make up for that time missed.
I mean, as of right now, there's only one Gunny. The future technology, who knows what may happen there, it feels like, because it feels like Gunny is definitely the like, hey, I don't know how to solve this problem, Gunny. Hey, Gunny, can you consult me on this, Gunny? Like, and so to have that kind of need, but also to find that balance for the end there. I was just kind of curious if there was like, oh, it's my free Friday night, let me go hang out, and what's Cedric doing?
Yeah, Sam?
I just wanted to get back to the people that ask questions before they get lost in the shuffle.
Oh,
no,
I'm
already.
Yeah.
Amy's
writing them.
I'm DMing them to you as well, Ray.
Oh, Steve, I'm putting
I just wanted to make
there.
sure.
Oh,
I see him as well. And a lot of the questions,
Sam.
if I'm not asking them right away, chat, do not worry. I have a list here, and some of the questions you're asking, I have on the list already. So just know that we are watching. We're trying to keep up, and we will try to answer as many of your questions as we can. We know there's a lot that people are kind of coming up with on the spot. We love you guys, and we thank you for being interactive in this chat. But also, thank you to everyone, again, that has been answering questions so far. I know, again, talking about your characters and their endings is, sometimes, you're trying to like up on the spot. So I appreciate all of your answers, and sure all of us do as well. So thank you guys. Let us go ahead. I want to move now to, this is kind of a everyone question, because I'm sure everyone might have reacted or in the future have decided something different for this, but everyone, this is a question that everyone asked. I got it multiple times over and over and over again. Buckles?
He's dead! He's dead! He's dead! He's gone!
There is an AI afterlife, okay?
Horses don't have Utvarpa!
Horse Holla, come on, make it canon.
Horses don't have Utvarpas. They're not in Valhalla.
Valhorsa.
Buckles
Is
was
there
special.
a way to like maybe like there's like a memory
genetically
where we
clone.
can go, genetically clone, or even like make a holodeck. What was it
Oh
called?
yeah,
What was
you
the
make
actual-
a beef flaker.
Yeah, make a beef flaker. Yeah. And then we
Never,
take the beef
ever
flaker,
ends.
we cut it out, and all of a sudden Buckles lives forever because he's in a beef flicker.
Yeah, we'll make a hologram of him that Cedric can go visit at the
Well,
Specu
then,
Library.
now the question is, because of technology and the beef flicker, are movies a thing? Do we get to have like movies in Thorin?
Yeah.
Osmond.
Will there get to be
They
the
figure out
adventures
how
of the adventures of Buckles?
They figure out how to make new ones. They uncover the equipment to make new recordings, and that's what Braggy is kind of in charge of as well, is detailing records and
Josh.
history. Yeah.
First of all, Buckles is a movie,
Yeah.
a mini series,
Oh.
and at least 6 seasons of a TV show picked up by NBC.
Easy.
Second of all, I want one of them metal horses that the Colburns have, and I want that to be Buckles.
Yeah, and you can make it a hologram around it that looks like Buckles.
Yes.
This was all for Buckles.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Who's Buckles?
Everyone's
Don't
like,
worry about
who is this horse? Why do we care about this horse? And every now and then there's one old person that just hits him in the ear like, shut up, you weren't there.
You don't understand.
You
He
weren't
was
there.
a hero. That's Cedric saying that. He was a hero.
He jumped in front of an orphanage and took that laser blast. The dramatic retelling as told by Cedric.
Yeah, that's what the miniseries is about. It's just like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And because, and Cedric has a speak with potions, so of course, Buckles is voiced by, y'all convince Loki to come and do the voice of Buckles, the AI.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Worry, orphans. I'll save you.
Trample.
That's how he won the Emmy. That's how he won the Emmy right there. Beautiful. Okay, so thank you for that. Let's go ahead. We'll move on. And again, this is also kind of a group question for everyone. Who is your favorite NPC?
I know mine.
We'll go ahead and we'll
It was
start with
Mimir.
Mark. Yeah, Mimir.
Mine was Mimir. It was so fun playing a cat. I hate cats. They're fun to play because you just gotta play an asshole.
I mean, I think, like you even said, there was a whole bit that revolved around it. So we love that in terms of a side character. What about you, Sam?
Well, originally I would have just said Thor, but Tyr kind of won me over in the end, so I'll give it a split like 50-50.
Like a 50-50. We won't tell Thor, but yeah, 50-50 sounds good. What about you, Gunny?
Threesome.
Ooh.
Maybe.
I don't know. Come back to me. I've been rolling this over.
All right, Cedric,
It's an important
Well-
question.
Josh.
I forgot his name, but it was the Minotaur. I arm
Oh,
wrestled.
the blacksmith in Smedeheim. Yes, that was
Yes.
fun. That was fun.
That was a
Oh,
wonderful
right.
scene. We invented pizza that episode.
Yeah.
Pizza was
I
canon.
invented
That's
pizza.
right.
Yeah.
It became canon. All right, so the Minotaur. What about you, Emmy?
I think my favorite NPC is has got to be Oscar.
You can't say Oscar.
But there is an underrated NPC that we only saw one episode that I must recall. It was in a village in Alfheim, and I don't remember her name, but I believe she was a Goliath and ran a tavern, or maybe it was the stables.
Oh, and
she was like, "Oh yes, I can help you with that."
Oh
That
yeah.
was the stables.
4 horses! And like, just like screaming
yeah.
off in the distance, and Cedric
Yes.
somewhere in the village is like,
What's that? That wasn't in.
A Goliath.
Was that in Alfheim?
it
Where would
wasn't
you have gotten
Alfheim,
the
it
horses
was
in Alfheim?
Arena. Arena?
It was Aurna? Yeah.
Arena?
The stable
Yeah, it means
Goliath.
river run.
Yeah, OG. Yeah, OG's like the stable Goliath.
Yes, that was the episode that Cedric began his whisper campaign.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I think the episode before we fought the rooks, the birds.
The rocks. Yeah.
No, that was
Yes.
the next
yeah.
episode.
The rocks were
Yeah.
the next episode.
Yeah.
But yes, that is exactly right.
Gotcha. All right, back to you, Tyler.
I'm gonna have to say Eilstein, just for
Eilstein.
the fake names. I run the place. The place would fall apart
it'd
without
fall
me.
apart without me.
And a lot of that's simply because it's a lot of self-recognition on that character. But he owned everything that he did. I mean, I just loved that character.
He was awesome.
They were all good, yes. And
The
I
subtlety of
personally,
that character was that he stole books because he thought they were underappreciated there. And so he collected them, but then they just piled up around his house.
yes, Emmy.
I am so sorry. I forgot something else. Steve did, while we were in the market in Midgard, he did include 2 NPCs, Mudbones and Slick James, who are from my world of Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Tie-in!
So that was fun. Yeah. Personally, I liked Nana and Oyvind.
They were my
maybe
favorite. They were mine.
Maybe I'm prejudiced, but I thought they were really
So
cool
good.
NPCs to Thorin.
So good.
I was just thinking of Steve's NPCs. I didn't think about guests. God damn it!
I think there was a question though, and it was from Letty, where if there was a guest player, and I'm going to exclude myself from this because I am in next season.
You can't.
But is there a guest that you would want to have on full time in a perfect world? Is there anyone that
Dreams
you just
already
love
come
to have
true.
at the table?
Yeah. Ray would be number 1. Excluding them, that's gonna be Jake. Jake is so much fun. The
Jake was
scheduling is a
awesome.
nightmare because he's
Denmark.
over there in Denmark. But
Right.
Jake is hilarious and a friggin' blast, and his energy just vibes with ours so well.
Yeah.
And again, remind me, Jake played.
Jake played
Dragon Ball.
Whenever y'all were all
Both
dressed
Dragon
up in
Balls.
the. Yeah, y'all were dressed up in the like.
The 100th.
Was it 100th
Yeah,
episode?
the 100th episode.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
played
episode
the
30
Jarl
and episode
and
100.
his son.
Yep.
And the
Kick
sun.
my ass.
Yeah, because that was
Cut my
the
city.
that was Nifrim's kind of revenge too. No,
No, it was Cedric.
Cedric.
It was
That was
Cedric.
mine,
No,
yeah.
it was
Cedric's revenge. Yeah, that's right.
the Jarl that kicked him out, and
And then the one that
son
murdered his mom.
the
That's
son
right.
that
There it
lied
is.
about him.
There it is.
Yup.
We love
Fuck that guy.
But again, that was such an intense episode.
Yeah.
When the mom and trying to save her, bring her back. Oh my god,
I was
Yeah.
so
so much
scared.
suspense. Well, let me go
No one's
ahead
favorite
and see.
NPC's not an outdoor angel.
Oh no.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you?
First
I
of
don't
all,
like it.
how dare you?
Steve, when you were looking at Thorin, and like now that again they were able to actually save Thorin and bring all these AI back online, what do you think that looks like in terms of once the AI reach their full potential? What is operational that even maybe the players don't even know about yet? Like, are we talking like, is there an endless supply of apples? You know, when like say when Idun was handed him apples, what's the benefits of like, ooh, these gods were only operating at 20% power, but now.
So, like I mentioned in the wrap up, the gods are everywhere all the time now. Like, they are able to do their full purpose with the Sather field fully active. First of all, magic is easy. Like, no more spell slots. It's unlimited. The gods, like, if you pray to a god, they'll show up. Like, in person to help. Like, if you're, like, traversing the jungle and, like, a freaking dragon attacks or something, if you call on Thor, he'll come smite that motherfucker. I figure eventually all of the technology basically gets restored, and the Thorin's current society basically pick up where the Emir left off without the corporate overlords in a more peaceful way. So they get, flying cars, they get spaceships, they get whatever they want.
Now that once, like, because you said terraforming was going to take years, but like, what is because again, this was a setting that someone determined that this is going to be the perfect planet. What is the perfect climate look like on Thorin? Like, what is Thorin realized?
So the way Thorin is now is about what it was when they found it, or when they settled it, and then they terraformed it. Pretty much everything north of the mountains south of Holdaheim is temperate. It is all now completely temperate. It's still dark and snowy on the other side of the mountains because the light just doesn't make it there. But it is like, it's all Alfheim now. After about 100 years, it's fully developed.
Love that. Okay, and then let's go ahead and do that. And actually, I don't know about you, Steve, but if you would like, this could be a good moment for us to go ahead and take a quick break.
Yeah, we'll take a break. We're doing ads right now, but that's okay.
When we'll just kind of wait a second until ads are over before we do that if you want. But
we'll go ahead. Thanks to Tyler, everyone's sub now.
Perfect.
Not everyone.
Nearly.
Everyone who's probably watching.
Yeah, we'll go to break. And we'll be right back.
Well, thank you, everybody. Yes, we will be right back. Y'all stick around because there are, again, more questions for these guys, and there's even 2 secret questions that I have not shared with them, and a surprise at the very, very end that I've whipped up for these guys. So stick around. We'll see you after the break. And welcome back, everyone, to this long and final rest here for Skald. I am your host, Backstage Bard, or a bard named Ray, and with me is the cast and dungeon master of Skald, this campaign that just wrapped up here. And again, we have Tyler as Gunny, Emmy as Nifrim, Josh as Cedric, Sam as Marcus, and Steve, the all-around everyone else, and lore builder of the fantastical world of Thorin. We actually want to thank you guys for being so active with us in the Discord as well as in chat tonight. We want to get to all of your questions, and so in order to do so, we are going to do a rapid fire round coming back here to try to catch up with all the questions that were asked in chat earlier. These are going to be very quick. We're going to try to get to as many as possible just to make sure that your questions are answered, because we want you to be just as satisfied at the end of all of this. So, that being said, did y'all actually kill Moogles? Y'all never actually killed Moogles, right? Y'all didn't actually...
Oh, Moogles survived because of Cedric.
Because of Cedric? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, glad that we clarified
Died of
that.
Natural causes.
Natural. Thank you, Cedric. We appreciate that.
And then they ate him.
Does Nif work to repair the family dynamic since their father created all of the sibling competition? And is that sibling competition gone now?
Oh, I love that question.
Yeah, Nifrim definitely is working to make their family a stronger foundation. And I think that with her father being gone and there being grief to be dealt with that, it's going to take a bit. But I think, yeah, she's probably going to work her best to make everybody a little closer. And I think the rest of the family is down for that, too.
In that same notion, does Nif and Hertha grow their relationship after all that pressure is gone?
Yes, especially because she chose to be with Sideric and actually married him. That changes Nifrim's perspective on Hertha, and it gives her a better, more in-depth view. Kind of like, when you're a kid or a teenager and you view your siblings a certain way, and then when you grow up, you're like, oh, we're actually cool. Like, this is cool.
So, like, a family, yeah, like OG says. So, legitimately, you kind of have to just talk, so that's always good.
Weird how
were
that
any
works.
of Tyler's drunken theories correct or feed your ideas at all, Steve?
I will say, I did consider, Tyler in a drunken stupor came up with the idea that, the Hothering had mirrors that would reflect onto, Niflheim. I didn't end up using it, but I damn near did. I mean, a lot of the theories were pretty close. A lot of the theories.
I was thinking about that one specifically, about like the backside of the planet that's uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Like, does the ring mirror back? Is there a whole civilization on the backside of the planet that we don't even know about?
Yeah, you had a theory that there was a civilization back there. There wasn't. And it doesn't get terraformed, but realize that Thorin is also much larger than Earth. So even half of the planet is like the surface area, bigger than the surface area of Earth.
Right. Was there anything that Skald taught you about your gameplay and how that will help you in the next campaign? Let's actually go ahead and start with Sam at the top on this one. So just anything that, in terms of playing mechanically or like class-wise or something where you're like, ooh, I want to play like this in the next game versus maybe your initial thoughts.
Did you learn how to haggle?
Yes, you haggle people down with the word haggle.
Yeah, nailed it.
It's a spell.
I haggle you down.
Welcome.
I mean, like, I made the character to be almost the polar opposite, like, personality-wise, but then mechanically not too far off from a paladin.
Fair enough. So playing what you know, do you think you might like do something in this next campaign a little bit different than what you're normally used to playing, or do you think that has influenced you at all kind of moving forward?
I'm definitely going to, like,
No details.
Made the character a lot less melee oriented, so like I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone a little bit.
Okay.
Nice.
But also, like,
that.
I told Nifrim Emmy when I sent her the character, I'm like, I like fuck him up.
I'm gonna.
just
Just
do terrible
we'll leave
stuff
it
to
there.
him.
We'll leave it there. Again, chat, trust me, there is no one that is in this chat more than me that wants to tell you every little bit of detail, but we're saving it. We're keeping it as close to the chest as possible, except for those little things that we slip out. But moving on to Josh, anything mechanically or something that you would change gameplay-wise, maybe you would bring into the next campaign?
Oh, gosh. Character-wise or, like, gameplay specific?
Gameplay-wise, I guess, is the more, like in terms of, like, how you would bring, in terms of gameplay, in terms
Honestly, I've played a lot of D&D, and Skald is the first game where I felt, because I usually say combat needs to be more fluid and quick, but Steve made it for a combated Skald was very quick, it was very fluid. I love that, and honestly, I'm excited to see what Emmy has to offer, because I have no notes from Steve's campaign. The best campaign I've ever played.
I love you too.
So honestly, gameplay-wise, I want to see what's next.
Oh,
See what's next.
Hurtful.
I think
no pressure, Emmy.
Yeah, no pressure, Emmy. I do think that's what's fun about playing even home games or even just different types of campaigns. It's, again, going out to a restaurant trying to order tacos. Every taco is going to be different wherever you go. So to be that at a table and know that you're going to come every single week and get a good meal just every single time you show up, like, that's always really fun as a player.
I love that analogy. D&D is a taco. Love it.
D&D is a taco. You heard it here, folks.
It's irresistible and everyone's is different.
You can order it at the Jotun Hut for a limited time.
Yes! Forge of Lord.store!
Special. It's been there the whole time. Emmy.
The whole time?
The whole time? What about for you, as I guess you're going to be DMing, is there anything that as a player you're now going, I didn't like this as a player in terms of D&D. I'm going to make this easier /
Yeah, what'd
different.
you hate about my campaign?
Yeah, tell us.
I didn't hate this campaign at all. In fact, I'm very sad that it's ending. But I think I learned a lot about what I would like to do with my next character, which won't be for a while, probably. But it also was very informative on how I want to DM my players and how I have learned more about each one of these people that I'm going to be playing with. So now I know how to kind of give you guys what you want and also put that in peril.
Will you use your powers for evil? That is the question we all must ask.
You know what? The best answer I can give you right now,
Do it!
shrug.
Yeah! She did the thing! She did the thing! Let's go!
The only shrug that's allowed is because it's for the next campaign. Y'all better get ready because
Oh my gosh.
it's getting, the more we talk about it every single week, the crazier and crazier this world seems to grow, and I am so ready for everyone to get a portion of that. But for you, Tyler, anything that, again, like gameplay wise, you would change?
I'm gonna have to answer this very honestly. Is I'm still very green in D&D, and everyone here started very green with live action role playing, like actually doing it for others to view. And Ray, I'm gonna have to say, when you guested, you set the bar higher on the role play.
Yeah.
And
Yup.
that is something that I'm going to have to, that is something I've learned that I'm going to have to pull up to and do better. Not do better, but be better. And like the role playing is just originally, like when I first came in green, I was that is something that I learned a lot was the portrayal, the acting for this specifically. And that's what I'm going to bring more into the next campaign.
I think it's always so fun as both a DM, as a player, whenever you have your character sheet, you know what they can do, you kind of have like the backstory you wrote and you have that idea in your head. But then that moment where maybe someone across the table is screaming at you, or Steve's making you roll because, oh my God, your sister is about to die. Oh my God, you got to save them. And all of a sudden, you feel your heart rate starting to accelerate, and you feel your throat start to quiver a little bit. You're like, you leave my sister alone. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh wait, where did that come from? Whoa. And that's it's always a great moment just to be able to kind of have that permission and to be in that space and at a table where it's not only encouraged, but you know that like everyone's going to be receptive to it. So y'all definitely made that space here. And again, I feel like it's only going to grow as the stories and the sagas continue.
There is one thing that I do have to say is
yes.
From being an audience member to being on the show, like watching the show, it was very quick to go, oh, hey, you can do this. You can do this. Hey, why don't you do this instead? You have this spell. You have done this before. Why can't you do that? And when I got on the show, it was like everything was in 4 times speed.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
All the stuff went out of my head. I couldn't think, like I could think for all of the different characters real quick. Hey, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. I couldn't hardly think what I could do right then and there. because I don't know if it's the pressure.
All of a
But
sudden,
it is
the initiative,
And you
Steve's
get-
calling your name, and you're
and
like,
you
what
get-
do I do? What does my character do? I forgot what I can do.
And I think you just
Yeah.
get so into the moment that you're like not paying attention to the meta of it, and you're just like, like, is my life on the line? Like, am I gonna die?
So, what about you, Steve? Because again, you're going from DMing to now playing. Is there anything
Finally.
that, again, mechanically about gameplay that you're kind of excited to kind of delve into maybe a little bit more? Like maybe even as an NPC, kind of like, ooh, this was fun. I want to kind of
Yeah,
see
for
what that's
one, I'm
about.
excited not to have to write every week. No, I'm too lazy for this job, really. No, I'm really excited because I've been a player way more than I've been a DM. And, I mean, hour-wise, maybe that's not so true anymore, but, it's freeing to be, a player. And the thing I'm most excited about is, I love discovery and figuring things out. Like, I would have loved to play this. I made the campaign I wanted to play. Fuck all y'all. I wanted to play this campaign. I love a good mystery.
as every
and I
DM
love-
should.
Yes, I love a good mystery and figuring things out, and I can't wait to like be surprised. I can't wait to be surprised.
Right. And so I will say this is actually going to piggyback into, because we have caught up with the chat questions from at least before we went on break. I did want to piggyback now into one of the questions that was in the Discord from Emmy. Steve, what was it like withholding campaign secrets from your wife for at least full 2 years?
It was hell! And I can't wait for you to experience it.
I'm already
we
experiencing it.
We made a long trip to Tennessee to help her sister move, and it was an 8-hour drive where we spent most of the time talking about the campaign upcoming and stuff like that. And boy, I recognize the pain in her eyes where she's like, I need to tell you this. Because it's the
But I
coolest
can't.
thing I've ever done.
No,
but I can't tell you.
It was a lot of yeah, so there's this thing, and I can't wait till you find out about this. And he was like, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to stop talking.
You're gonna have to stop
'Cause
doing that.
I can't stand not knowing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
Right.
can't stand not telling you.
It is very painful, and I can't wait for her to feel my pain
And-
more.
Knowing Emmy at this point, and also knowing the people that are in this call and going to be in this next campaign, there's stuff that she probably already knows about each of our characters that it's like, if only I could tell you this, Steve, about Ray's character. Oh, if only I could tell you this about Tyler's character, but
Yep.
I
Yep.
won't. So you now have the power, Emmy, to get to hold that over Steve. But again, it's both a burden and a curse, I hear. So good luck.
Yep. Good luck.
Who was and also I'm going to keep you going, Steve, here. Who was your favorite god to roleplay?
Probably
Because-
Loki, although Tyr was a lot of fun. Tyr ended
That's what I was
up
gonna
being a lot
say.
of fun.
Yeah, I felt like Loki would have been the easy answer.
Tyr
but-
was kind of me. Like, if I were an AI and suddenly had access to super advanced, even for the AI technology, he's like, oh, there's so much computing power. Oh my god, I see everything. And just like the flying the ship. That was really just me and how I would be. And I became Tyr. But Loki was really fun because I loved antagonizing the players.
You're really good
and
at it.
dropping. Oh, thanks. And it's because I'm an asshole. And dropping little like kind of hints and stuff where like the quote, which is actually I pulled the quote from The Expanse. Another thing I love, which I brought into this, which is when he's talking about how they know nothing. It was around Arena, and he's like, you know nothing. You're monkeys playing with a fucking microwave. You have no idea what it is. That's one of my favorite quotes from The Expanse. They're talking about a monkey sees a microwave and he doesn't know what it is. He sees it opens and you can put things in it, so it must be storage. when you put your hand in it, it hurts, so it must be a weapon. They don't know that it just cooks food. They don't know anything. So Loki was a lot of fun, just to jab at the characters. He would
stir the pot, keep everyone on their edge. Now, I will bring this up because, again, it was brought up in Discord, and it has been kind of a question, and because Loki seemed to talk to this character a lot, what was Gendry's fate? Where did Gendry end up? Because, again, the universe called him to his greater destiny. What would you say that was? Where did Gendry end up at the end of all this?
I hadn't really... I hadn't written it out ahead of time. I mean, eventually he was going to... I did that with all the characters. I kind of played them by ear as we went along. I had general ideas. The general idea with Gendry was he was eventually going to regain his memories. He was eventually going to run into his former, wife, lover person, who was going to turn out to be a villain. And he was going to have to fight her, having now gone from villain to hero. Because he forgot that he was a villain.
Gotcha. Well, again, lost to the sands of time, as is the salute off there. To bring it, though, I want to bring it around to Sam, actually. And this was something that got brought up at the end here, and this is kind of thinking about the future of Thorin and about you working with Thor specifically, since now, again, you and Thor are just BFFs for life. With working with Thor, what planetary defenses do you think you would want to bring to Thorin? Because, again, we now know that Earth could come at any moment to maybe try to do something. All of a sudden, it's like, what do we got? What are we doing? What's your passion project in that regard?
I mean, if he lived long enough to see if they had some kind of flying tech, maybe a bomber / fighter tech, something like that. I feel like after he got to ride around in the Jotun that's cool, but he liked going fast. So when he was having the time of his fucking life along with Tyr when they were flying around in the dropship, he's like, yeah.
Did you build the Death Star? That's what we want to
know.
No. Did you end up building?
That's no moon.
That's
long story short. Planetary destroying planets are infeasible and stupid. You don't want to destroy anything like that. If anything, you just want to wipe the surface clean so that you can keep using the planet.
Oh, yeah, no, makes sense, absolutely.
Frugal.
But kind of what
thinking like Valkyr.
Yeah, like the Earthlings wanted to do, but more efficient. I understand.
Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Valkyr was right. Larson was right. Larson did
further. You're just further proving the point of fuck corporations.
History must repeat itself, apparently, in the world of Thorin as well.
Secretly, Marcus is a pod racer.
Wait, Marcus
in the future, that's jet. What he would be like once they get the tech going. He's like, sweet.
What's that, Josh?
Marcus in a fighter jet. I'm gonna handle you down.
That becomes his tagline.
Fantastic.
Every time he gets behind the flight controls, you just hear danger zone.
Yeah. Howdy, partner. I'm gonna haggle you down.
I feel like Marcus in a fighter jet, with a hammer out a window, is just is beautiful.
Unfortunately, it doesn't take off because of his heavy armor. It's just wasted.
It's too heavy.
The 5
you have to
suits
be wearing
of armor.
medium armor or less. Okay, we can't
that's
know this
required.
heavy stuff. But for Gunny then, and for Tyler, is there, in that same vein, is there a specific project that you think Gunny would be like, if I'm not helping somebody else, this is my passion project. This is my, I'm going to build this cool tech.
The passion project was bringing the old warehouses and factories back to existence. That way we could manufacture better tech more efficiently. Rehabbing those buildings and stuff. That was really Gunny's passion project.
And they all came back online, bringing that tech in.
And this is kind of for both, I guess, Nifrim and Gunny, because again, as the artificers here, as with technology and sharing and knowledge and things like that, I guess, who invented the light bulb out of the two of you? Like, because again, in this world, with electricity and being able to hopefully bring power to people's homes, like, which one of you is the Edison? Which one of you is the Tesla? Is there any?
See, I feel like the light bulbs already existed in the
they just copied them.
That
right,
was
just
already
copy them, but
there.
Yeah.
I think Gunny
So
would
Tyler's the
be
Edison.
more the type of character
inventor.
to think of something like that. Nifrim was never super, super good at inventing stuff. She did make Herm, but I'm
she
not good
repaired
at being an artificer.
Do we ever
Tyler
get a
is.
Herm? Do we ever get another Herm after the one exploded at the end? Like,
Yes.
was Herm ever rebuilt?
Yes, Nifrim definitely rebuilt Herm with a grabber arm. Because I was
Love
going to
that.
do that the whole
Yeah.
campaign and didn't
Yeah.
really.
Didn't you have,
Once
you
you
had
got
the blueprints
the-
for it?
Yeah,
I did.
You got that from
I did.
Invari.
I didn't tinker it.
You were busy reading a
But
book.
I think Nifrim would also do like a Herm 2.0 kind of side project to like give people. No, 2.0. It's staying the same.
Oh,
2.0
To give
plus.
people like the option to be like,
2.1.
yo, do you have a Herm 2.0? Because, bitch, I do.
I love that. I think when you create characters this in depth that have all these skills and things, and you get your happy ending, it's like, what are you bringing, I guess, to this ending, and also kind of what improvements, what little fun things.
In fact, if it were possible, this is kind of a question for Steve. Nifrim's real passion project for Thorin would be to, hear me out, bring back Minnie and give her a new purpose and build her AI up to be more like the Asir.
roll an Arcana check.
Fuck you, I'm actually
Yes.
doing it.
This is happening
Yeah.
live.
Oh
Y'all
my
ready for this?
god! Natural
Was it-
18! For a 29.
She's not as good as
Nope.
the Asir.
Nope, that would be 31. Sorry.
She's not as good, quite as good as the Asir, but she's much more capable and understanding and less prone to influence.
Woo!
I'd
Damn.
say and I mean, Loki was the one who was the
Yeah.
head of AI development, right?
Yeah, AI creativity.
Yeah,
You
she would
work
also
with
run the Herm
Loki.
2.0 production cycle, so.
Fair enough. All right, so my next question's for Josh.
Uh-oh.
Cedric had a huge, I think huge is probably an understatement, a
Gross.
unhealthy, gross, fantastical obsession with animals throughout the campaign.
Yes.
Once you retired, you sat down in your lovely home with your kids and your sword on your hearth and your lovely wife. Which one's the pet? Which one's the everyday? This is the home. Is there only one? Is there multiple? Where are we
there's
at
tons.
in terms of pet situation?
It is a zoo.
Tons. Yeah, it's a zoo. 3 or 4 dogs, 6 or 7 cats, a large enough home so it doesn't smell like poo, and lots of, maids so it cleans up all the pee and the poo, 100%. Chickens outside, obviously Moogles. Even if old Moogles died, there will be a new Moogles. There's going to be a Buckles. I'm probably going to have some birds, maybe some parrots, maybe some little
Elephant
those cockatiel
pen?
things. No, elephants don't have pens. We have a large enough land where they hang out there. They have a watering hole. They are free to do what
Open,
they want.
Free range. We
I
like
go
that.
out
Range
there,
elephants,
I-
delicious.
Yes, once a day I speak to animals and I have a tea party with them. They have their teacups in their trunks. Yes.
I love him. I swear to God, I love Cedric so
God,
goddamn much. So out of everyone, and this is kind of a general question, but I'll start with you, Josh, because I think out of everyone, if I remember right, you did this the most. And except for Sam, do any of y'all regret multi-classing as much as you did during this campaign? And if you do, or like if you rethought about it, is there one class that maybe you would have just thrown a few more levels into because that would have been really cool to see?
Honestly, I was multi-classing just for the heck of it. It was kind of a crowd-pleasing thing. I was, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Wait, I want to sneak, I'm going to do this. And then it actually turned into something pretty real. I was like, oh, this is cool.
It worked
but then
well.
And then I got the Rune Knight feature. And I was like, oh man,
Rune
even
Knight
if we get all the way to
broke.
level 20, I'm not going to be able to get to where I want to. So I wish I kind of dialed down on the rogue and just stuck with Barbarian and Fighter.
Right. But I mean, hey, it still makes interesting characters. And again, in the moment, I think as you're leveling and as you're like playing the characters, and I'm sure, and even as you all said, like you probably didn't go into it thinking, I'm going to multi-class into all of this, unless like that was the original concept. So it's always fun to kind of like.
Yeah. For me, it's a little less about what's going to be the most powerful and more about what's going to be fun and what can I role play and how can I make combat and stuff more fun, right? Because rogue combat, the best thing around. Add a fighter on there. Oh my god.
Rogue fighters are fucking broke.
But now you're dead. Step.
Rogue fighters.
And then
are
all of a sudden
broken.
you're raging and you have resistance. And
I'm 3 times the size. Like,
It's a beautiful little thread that happens there.
Yes.
What about you, Emmy, in terms of Nifrim?
Yeah, the multi-classing with Artificer and Rogue was my original concept. However, I had intended to do more Rogue than Artificer. I had this whole concept with Nifrim that she was super, like, respectful of the Emir, and that she was very, like, I don't know how best to say this, but, like, into the dead. Like, she did a lot of delving and was more into the people themselves than the tech. The tech just kind of was an afterthought. Based off of the rogue subclass that I chose, which was, I can't even remember the name right now, but as I started playing,
like Phantom or something, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But as I started playing her, I was like, I don't know, Artificer seems a little more interesting, and I've never really delved into Artificer, so I was like, I think I'm gonna kind of explore this a little more, but I'll add more Rogue as I go, and I never added a class of Rogue after level 3, which was what she was built with. It was Rogue 3, Artificer 2, something like that. But yeah, it ended up being more story than anything, and it's usually how I do my classes if I multi-class.
Fair enough. What about you, Tyler?
Honestly, I probably would have multi-classed more into Wizard instead of Artificer. Mm-hmm. Knowing what I know now, but being new to D&D, like Wizard gave me a lot more spells, gave me a lot more ability to do things. But with that said, in Steve's world, a Wizard and Artificer are almost hand in hand as far as tech.
Wizard just
magic.
doesn't know.
So it like leads me back to like my initial appearance. It's like, you know, I can do things with tech with my hands, but I make the difference happen with magic.
Yeah.
And little did I know that was actually how everything really worked. So, I think I would have gotten a lot more done in Wizard.
I have to say, Tyler, I learned something from you, which is Wizard Artificer is fucking broken.
It can.
That is not a combination I ever thought of, but it's an Artificer with extra spells that can learn spells from scrolls and shit. That is...
Yep.
It's amazing.
Busted.
insane.
Sam, I know you Paladin Ride or Die. If you had delved into a different class or another class, like, which one do you think Marcus would have dipped their toes into?
fighter, so I could get like action surge and stuff like that. I played with that a couple times, like, you know, dump a couple into fighter so that I could get the fighter abilities, but then I was like, it's not really something that Marcus would do, because until he realized that the gods were an AI, he was like, everything is about the gods, and anybody who says different is stupid, and I don't like them very much, okay?
Fair enough. For Steve, I'm wondering, and this was actually from Indie Geek in Discord, during the campaign, you know, again, DMs have the power of the DM screen, because at the end of the day, you are the storyteller and the person that is guiding the adventure for everyone. Is there ever a moment where you as the GM, and you can choose to be honest here or not, fudged a roll that maybe you later came to regret? And can you give us any details if so?
I don't know if I ever regret any, but I definitely fudge rolls a lot. Mostly during battle. I am terrible at gauging difficulty. Like challenge rating is broken. I'm really bad at guessing the like difficulty of an encounter. I said it once, I'll say it again. I followed the Matt Koval school of, he says, encounter building does not end when you roll for initiative. Just because I'm bad at planning a battle, you shouldn't be punished for that. Like, if I make someone way too strong than I intended, I will start, like, lowering those rolls. If I,
right.
And this is usually what happened, if I make someone not powerful enough, I start fudging upwards. And you still fucking annihilate them.
Yeah,
Larson
like
was
that...
the final battle. I did not fudge anything that I remember. But y'all, at discord.forgelore.com, I dropped Larson's stat block in there, and it's kind of stupid.
It is.
I'm like, I know that everything I throw at these guys, they annihilate. So I am just going to build the craziest fucking thing I have ever built in my life. And it worked.
Yeah. And
it took 121 episodes, but I figured out how to build a fucking encounter.
Well, I think there's like this happy medium as a DM where, again, you want to make sure that the players are challenged, there's good reward and story, but at the same time, if the party gets thrown a red dragon and the rogue is literally like Spider-Man across the field and you're having a hard time, like, oh, they slayed a dragon in like 3 turns.
Yeah.
What the, like, you know, so you understand, I think, as a DM, there's those moments where it's like, I want this to be a little bit heightened. And maybe he didn't have a legendary resistance, but you know what? They're going to use a legendary resistance just to keep you invested. And I can appreciate that as a player.
That specifically with Larson, I forgot about legendary resistances. And when he did the force wall and you hit him, I was like, oh, I forgot they do double fucking damage. Oh, shit. Legendary resistance.
I think that's the power of the DM, right? You're there for the story purposes.
Yeah,
and
it's always for story.
In the moment, what we the players don't know won't hurt us. At least we don't think it will. So we appreciate the honesty there.
It's all story based, like story centered, and I want to make sure the players are still having fun and that it's not a slog. That's the only time I cheat.
Gotcha. This is kind of a question for Steve since it's his world, because I'm kind of curious as once the players kind of pass away, what happens after. But you introduced an interesting mechanic that I kind of want to touch on a little bit, and that's when someone that dies in this world, there is a potential for them to come back as a spirit. And we saw this with Nifrim's father. We saw this, in those examples. And you even mentioned that, the god, that's their whole responsibility. Is to bridge people. That wants to do that. Because
Freya,
of this ability and because of,
Freya accepts them into
Yeah.
Valhalla.
Oh.
Ithun
But because of this ability, right, and this ability to come back, do you think that the Jotun Slayers themselves ever ascend, if you will, to a form of godhood and worship due to the impact they've had on this world?
I mean, they definitely become, like, legends, literal legends of, like, everything that Thorin becomes is because of them. Like, all the technology that wouldn't have happened without these guys recovering and, Hodor and restoring the Sather field. None of this would have happened without them. So they definitely become literal legends that people definitely look up to. And I mean, obviously, a lot of them live for many centuries.
Right. And for those of you who choose to do it, would you choose to go to Valhalla and just have that happy ending in Valhalla? Or would some of you choose to have the ability to come back, offer advice, wisdom? Is that something that you think your character would do? Let's go ahead and start with Josh.
Oh, I don't know, because I had that option, right? Like, when I died, when Cedric died, the Valkyrie came, put their hand out, took my hand, and I was just like, I could probably not take this and just be done and have peace, right? So I guess if I was feeling that level of like conflict and I died again, then yes, I would probably be like, oh no, it's time for peace. But looking back at it right now, as I'm with, Hertha and I have a whole family, absolutely not. Yeah, I would not go to Valhalla. I would enjoy my time on this planet.
What about Nifrim? Do you think that, again, her dad's already coming back, do you think that you would kind of follow in those footsteps? Do you think you'd just be like, once I've made my impact, I'm out?
I think Nifrim would be one of those people who's like, yeah, I'll get around to retirement. I'll get there. I just need to do this one thing. And then she would do that one thing and then be like, no, not quite yet. Like, I'm going to put it off for a little bit. I got to keep doing the things. Yep. And as long as Thorin is in potential danger, she's going to see it as her baby. And she's going to probably just keep fucking coming back for a while. She might even do one of those things where you like retire for a little bit and then you go, I need like a part-time job. Go back in.
I'm bored.
Y'all need any help? Like, ooh, that looks cool.
Y'all ever heard of Nifrim Colburn?
Hello, I'm Nifrim Colburn.
Do you think Gunny would come back?
So Gunny's gonna live several centuries beyond like his normal lifespan, but he's gonna come back. I think he's going to reach a moment where he understands everything he's built is self-sufficient. Let me rephrase that. Everything is going to be self-reliant.
Right.
That is probably, the idea of self-reliance as a parent is you want your children to grow to be self-reliant. You want them to be able to do what they can on their own without your needs or your help, or to be able to help with anybody else. So with the idea of the foundation, the orphanage in a sense, and helping with the tech and the planet and everything, once everything is self-reliant, he's gonna hit a spot where he's like, you know what? There's adventures on the other side to be had.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna go.
Before we get to Sam, I had a follow-up here that I was gonna ask Gunny. Do you think that he ever does settle down and have like a family and kids, or do you think that he's more of like the people of Thorin are my children?
The people of Thorin are his children, but he does find solace in the arms of the innkeeper that was there in Smedeheim.
In Smedeheim?
Oh! Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were buddies. She gave you rooms for doing chores and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
She was somebody who always like was able to, as an innkeeper, like was there and whatnot. And
Are you
help
talking
carry him
about?
through the hard times.
Oh, I remember. Okay, like in the
inn that
garage,
was,
the underground garage.
parking garage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Those good impressions, you just get that good service once. It's like,
Yeah.
dang, I know what I'm about. Sam, for Marcus, do you think he would be one to return, or would he just go to Valhalla and enjoy the afterlife?
Chill with Svala.
Oh, he would absolutely come back every now and again. He is absolutely one of those people who's like, I just can't let things go. Like, I didn't realize it at first. Like, I even wrote into the backstory, like, he keeps going back to the mercenary company even after he settled down, and his family died because he just couldn't let it go, and he went back. And while he was back, that's when the Kelrus came for him, but he wasn't there to help protect them. So after I realized that, I was like, dude, there's no way he would let anything go. Like, he could let it go for a while, but, he would eventually come back every now and again and be like, but I'm bored, and I have got all this family and stuff, and I need to do something.
There's just like this poor child that's been like really struggling with doing a report on the history of, the Jotun Slayers, and all of a sudden all four of you just happen to show up and start arguing. It's like, what? Who? It's like, no, I defeated this with a single blow. No. I could see that being just a fantastic moment. So in that light, we're down to the last few questions here in terms of what was on Discord, and then I do have some bonus questions for the cast and Steve. But in regards to, I know, Steve, you mentioned earlier the monkeys in a microwave was one of your favorite quotes to say, but did everyone in general have a favorite, like, quote or moment, like surprise moment, or something that just really stuck with you, maybe you still quote or say to this day?
Oh, hello.
She still gets chills every time I say it. Oh, hello.
Oh my god! I love that. Sorry.
Trauma. Fine. Anyone else?
Everyone knows my favorite word.
Indeed.
Beef.
No. The other one that I laugh at all the time.
Beef.
Oh, beef flaker.
Beef flaker.
I also love Indeed. Indeed.
There for a while, that was about 50% of what Marcus said.
Marcus's lines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I don't know if any of y'all watched, Stargate SG-1 and all, but like,
I'm not a nerd.
Marcus's.
Oh my god, we're so
Took
cute.
was Marcus's spiritual animal. He's just like, indeed.
Love that.
Oh my god.
Man of few words.
What about you, Josh?
Ooh, I don't know if I have a favorite quote, but I think the entire interaction when we first met Nifrim's family is probably my favorite role-playing interaction.
Oh, the like one at a time
Yes.
coming to dinner.
Yes.
And everyone's like trying to be like really awkward while Dad's there. And, like no one
Yeah.
wants to step out of line.
Oh!
Yes,
Just
and providing
real
like the
quick-
bag of tricks and like seeing Oon run around on animals and stuff, like
bath.
the whole thing.
To
was
interject
later.
just for a moment, piggybacking off of that, Josh, did any of you guys expect her to have this fucking enormous nuclear family?
No.
No,
Yeah.
even me watching, no.
I never
All of a
mentioned
sudden
that it
you-
was
That list,
huge.
and I'm like, holy shit.
You come back home and all of a sudden Nifrim's a Nepo baby, and it's like, what
Yeah.
the heck?
I had to make a whole fucking table
Wearing a
just to
dress
keep
and
track
shit?
of them.
I will say, for those of you who have watched the campaign, again, the maps have always been incredible. Steve has done a fantastic job in Talespire. I think it definitely adds to storytelling whenever you as a player get to see the space you're in. And I will say, the Colburn Estate map is just perfectly ingrained.
Yeah,
It's so
it was,
good.
Emmy, of course, built it, and it was
Yeah, and
featured
I know Emmy
on
built that
Tales.
one. Yeah.
It was featured on Talespire's Twitter. on Bouncy
Yeah.
Rock's
Took
Twitter.
me months.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
It was beautifully done. It was fantastically
It was a
done.
community
And I
spotlight.
think that one, and then again, even like I remember joining the one stream, and I hadn't fully caught up yet, but you were literally burning Citrix's home down.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, what's happening? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. My players aren't allowed in here, but I'm burning down Josh's home. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was no players stream, and I took Josh's map that he built and just started deleting and adding
Just-
a bunch of fucking fire.
Because I do like that
think-
you made each of them build a map in that regard. To
Yeah,
kind of,
Gunny didn't get a chance.
right.
Gendry didn't have Noah's home, and Marcus's, he's like, I would, but it's just cinders.
Yeah.
It was
Cinders?
burned down.
It was just burnt down.
Oh,
Yeah, both of his-
cinders. I heard
Both of his homes were
cinders.
Yeah.
entirely destroyed. I mean, I could have made like a burned out ruin with.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think we'll go there. It's okay.
Yeah, we'll just.
I think Naglfar was my favorite map.
Naglfar was,
That was
the
so
most fun
yeah.
to build.
The like
The
ship made of
refugees.
ravens.
And then
Oh
even
my
the
god,
Same.
Raven- the Raven
that
ships.
masthead was so much, and that
was badass.
That whole map, I loved building that because I built it as I designed it as a ship and then converted it to a town.
Right.
I was like, here's where the med bay would be. It'd be right next to the bridge, and then the hole, and like, you know, this would be here, and then this is what they are now. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think for maps, and this is going to be weird, but the one map that I really liked was the vertical map.
Oh, that
The
was
very
a lot of fun.
small square footage,
Oh, yes.
but very tall
yeah.
map. But
yes.
the thing about that was like Steve had gotten some attention on
Oh,
Tales
yeah.
Tavern about that specific map. Specifically because go ahead.
Yeah, so basically I mentioned in there that, you know, make your players think differently, make them think vertical rather than horizontal. You know, keep them close and they'll have to like figure out how to fight vertical, because with every battle I try to add something like a new challenge. And some guy commented about, so limiting your players is what you do? That's not what you should do as a DM. You should give them all the fucking area they want. Like, you should give them everything they want. Like, you shouldn't restrict your characters, your players. That's what a bad DM does. And I'm like,
It wasn't even just
okay.
that. He was like
He kept
doing
going.
the whole
We love the
I
white
know
knight.
more than you.
I've been a DM for like 95 years or something, and it got so
Okay,
bad
Grandpa,
and
let's
so
go back to bed.
it got so cringe that the owner of the site, without me asking, deleted the comments. Like, he's like, I was like,
Damn.
oh hey, like I noticed this problem with this this page on Tales Tavern, and he's like, yeah, I disabled comments on that one. I was like, cool.
You gotta love, in every space, there is always people that want to, you know, force their fun on others and
Yeah.
what their idea is. But again, that's what we love home games for, because
Yeah.
fuck your rules. We do what we want.
Fuck your
Yeah.
rules.
But that is
your
definitely
rules.
a space that really made you think outside the box of what
It was fun.
what you could do, what you needed to do and stuff. So
It was a challenge to
Nifrim
build
loved
too.
it.
All right, so
You mean
the
I get to
last
fly?
The last serious question that I have before we get into a little bit of a bonus is
Do real quick,
Yeah, actually,
Ray?
let's take a quick break real quick, because our dog
Easy
is
enough.
whining. And then
all
we'll come
means.
back with those last questions, and then
Last questions,
what's coming
and then-
up.
And then also surprise, there's a
Yeah,
surprise
whatever
for the
this
players
is.
and Steve.
Yeah,
that's
whatever
gonna be
that
coming
is.
up soon. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Woo!
Why, hello there, and welcome back again to more questions about the wonderful campaign of Skald with Forge of Lore. I have the cast of Forge of Lore here. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And we have been answering your questions for the past 2 hours about the 121 episodes that these guys have been putting together over the past 2 years. It is a lot to get through, and we thank you everyone for being so involved, so for asking the questions that you've asked. We have a couple more to get through here. We then have Steve's lovely step into what is next for the channel in the upcoming weeks. There's so much planned, y'all have no idea. Oh my god. And then the very end of that, I've got one last little surprise for these guys that we're gonna throw at them completely unexpected. Thankfully, Marcus maybe is a little bit better with surprises now, we hope. And so, that being said, let's jump right back into these questions, starting with one that was in chat earlier. Let me go ahead and pull that up here. What happened to that little girl from the Viking rave? And this was from Viv.
She became queen. No, I don't know. She went on living her life, especially once the war ended. She was just protecting her town. She wasn't a warrior. She's just good at what she does. I mean, I guess she was a warrior, but she wasn't a soldier. She's just protecting her village.
From Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, totally. Basically, she went on to be a fucking badass, is what she did.
Fucking Bella Ramsey, bitches.
Listen, listen to me real quick, and I will say this as the host right now, and I don't know if I speak for everyone else, but keep Bella Ramsey's name out of your mouth. Hate people that just want to hate for no goddamn reason. Shut up. Sorry, someone has more talent than you.
Fucking preach.
Anyway,
I was gonna say, could I hire her for Jotun or for Jotun Slayers Inc?
Nope.
And then put her in charge of controlling the controlling the people that protect that town.
She'd never bend the knee. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not.
Exactly.
It is not about bending the knee.
Oh, it's always about bending that knee.
Gross.
Anyway,
Low gross.
For Sam, did you ever figure out what the R stands for? Or what does CAR stand for?
No. I completely forgot about that.
Never figured it out.
Oh, sorry, Viv.
Sorry, Viv. From lovely Letty in chat, the chat redemptions are fun. Do you think you might put those in the episodes more regularly, special occasion? Like, how did you feel about the actual, redemptions there at the end?
Yeah, so Steve had specific redemptions for Skald. In Saga, I have several different ideas that I think will be fun for chat to bring them into the story and have them more involved.
There might be something specifically for my character.
I do have, well, not might, there will be. Yeah, y'all will probably enjoy some of the things I've come up with, I hope. And I loved the redemption Steve had. The Ace or Asir intervention, fucking clutch.
Oh god, I love that.
Yeah.
About half of them, I think, were to fuck with you guys, like prank you, like the arm wrestling and stuff.
There's only a couple. There were some that were legit.
Oh,
we would have been in trouble.
Life saving.
Mm-hmm.
All the ones with
where Thor showed up and just bodied that worm? Or whatever
that wasn't even
sand.
a redemption. That was before live. That was pre-scripted.
That was just.
There was the one
body
at the docks when we called Veether. Well, I think it was Indy that called Veether there.
Yeah,
and
Indy
that
redeemed
saved our asses so hard.
And then
That was our first
Veether
one.
with the warehouse in
Holdeheim.
Holdeheim.
There were some really good redemptions.
The Asir interventions were really fun. It was fun coming up with how it could affect, because chat had a bit of a say of which way they wanted it to push, but I got to choose kind of what happened with it, and it was fun. It was a fun little improv thing.
Do you feel like, in terms of story and in terms of just being able to kind of play with this world a little bit, do you find that, chat sometimes hurts more than hinders? Do you think sometimes they actually help more? How do you feel in terms of y'all's story? Because I know personally, as someone who's been on the Grouch Couch,
they'll fuck your day.
While, they sometimes just want to come in there and be like, no, specifically you disadvantage. And you know what? And on top of that, I hate you. So like, you know, how do you feel like that relationship kind of teeters between telling the story you want to tell, but then also letting chat be involved?
I think it was pretty like it was
Balanced?
fine. Balanced. I made sure not to do anything that would go crazy, like just derail completely. The austere intervention was like the biggest thing, but it also was expensive. And so it, like, as far as channel points, so, and I limited them like 1 per session. So, and, you know, it's not like you could call a god and, yay, you win now.
1-800 dial a god coming to you now.
Yeah, exactly. It was like they'll help in some way. They won't win your fight for you, although Thor kind of did during the mini dungeon a bit. He got rid of the drones, but you know, it's not like he's like, and here's, you know, your brother. Now leave. It's just really helpful.
I found chat to be incredibly chaotic when it came to redeeming advantage disadvantage. And it was really funny to watch from my perspective as like everybody's redeeming DM advantage and then all of a sudden the battle turns and then suddenly they're redeeming player advantage and like
It definitely would ebb and flow. It would ebb and flow. It was fun.
Whoops. I love the chaos of that as well.
I do think that it's always fun to be able to have those, even like very few, if any, but like those moments where, again, maybe someone in chat's action changed the trajectory of everything, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of lore, though, there's some lore questions that we haven't gotten to yet, and again, this is kind of a deep dive, and again, for all the players here, sorry, but again, everyone wants to know, get inside Steve's brain, so we gotta pick it a little bit.
Screw you! Talk to me!
What's the story behind Naglfar? Like, Rachel wants to know, I want to know, like, why?
So Naglfar was the originally intended as the original colony ship that eventually deorbited through battle or whatever, and then broke apart landing. Like the back half of it was scattered throughout the desert and had mostly been picked clean. And you know, when the people were settling the desert, they come across this large structure that has an enclosure, and oh, that's nice. Let's just build a town in it. And it's got all these cool gadgets in there that we can kind of fiddle with. And then once
it's not hot in here.
Once they realized that they could power the AC with magic, and eventually a radiant capacitor, then they're like, this is literally an oasis. Let's build it out. I just thought, when it comes down to it, like meta-wise, I thought it would be dope to have a city in a crashed spaceship.
How many, and this is actually, I'm throwing this at you wild here because I just thought about this. How many active, would you say, radiant capacitors are on Thorin? Like,
how many active?
Working. Yeah, the active working, like, was our players like, oh, they were going to stumble on one eventually? Or are we talking like...
Probably a couple hundred, but most of them are buried deep in facilities. Like, yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's a big planet, and like the desert, you know, they hadn't explored, you know, humanity hadn't explored all the desert, so the sand covered a lot of the old structures.
Probably old tech and stuff, yeah.
Exactly.
Swallowed by the sands, as they say.
Yep.
Would you kind of shed some light, and again, this is still for you, Steve, on there was this gap whenever the players were able to bring all the AI back online, and Loki seemed to have like this huge gap from like where he like had memories to like all of a sudden even working with Minnie, things like that. What happened there? Was that Minnie messing with stuff? Was that just oops, forgot to back up, or oops, war? Like what was the oops?
So what the deal was, Hodor, the 400 some odd years ago, his got corrupted, and didn't get restored because no one was able to restore it. The others, because they checked out the other gods, and they all had the same length of time since last backup as Loki. What it is the polar facility went offline. The Sather field provides the Hermother connection, which Hermother is basically the internet.
Wi-Fi or internet.
Yeah. And so eventually the Sather field near the pole got so thin that it just disconnected about 90 years ago.
Gotcha. So what you're telling me is
nothing nefarious and not intentional.
What you're telling me is that in the world of Thorin, IT bros are wizards because they have great knowledge of the Zeta field and can. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Glad we got
as
this.
All IT bros.
As all IT, even unwillingly. We're all there. From Letty, though, again, her last question for this evening, and I actually really love this question because this is kind of a fun way to phrase this. And we'll go ahead and we'll start with Sam and then go to Josh, Nifrim, and then Gunny. What was your rose of the campaign, and what was your thorn? So the thing that was incredibly beautiful, but maybe also hurt a little bit.
Like when he re-met his mom, found out that she was alive. Like probably when he found out that she was alive was like, that's when he had his mini freak out and he started like trashing the whole whole state. He's like, yeah, I'll be right back. Don't bother me for a little while.
Just Kylo Ren, the fucking forest.
Just a nice crash out. Just a nice crash out in private. You know, we've all been there. Makes sense. What about you, Josh, and with Cedric?
Oh, I would say episode 100. My rose being I finally got, vindication. I got, all of any vengeance or anger I had out of my way gone, but the thorn being is I almost kind of died. I was actually down for the count, and I feel like the victory was taken away a little bit, but Jake the Cake put on such a fantastic show. I couldn't really be too upset.
We can't hear you, Josh. Get closer.
Oh, am I mumbling?
Bit? Yes.
Oh, I said Jake the Cake did a fantastic job, so it was hard to be too upset about dying.
Yeah.
I think character death is always one of those things where you're just kind of like, oh man, hopefully maybe someone can revive me, but also do I just want to stay dead because that's part of the ritual. So that's always so fun and also scary when it happens as a player, but then also you're so in it, your heart rate's up, and again they're like, all right, well that's where we're gonna end it till next time. You're like, no,
I guess I'm done with D&D forever.
Real quick, just because on that note, and I was never able to reveal, I mentioned in Past Long Rest that I have a mechanic for death, and we kind of saw it in the ship, but it was kind of bypassed. In Skald, if anyone died, like other than on the ship, the way to bring them back was going to be sacrifice. It was going to be everyone would, the first time someone died, like a character died, everyone else would have had to give up a green magical item.
Okay,
the second time that same character died, everyone would have had to give up a blue item. And so on, until suddenly you're giving up artifacts because the guy keeps dying.
Do you, would you as a DM accept currency, like if they started producing diamonds and, like that?
Yeah, I mean, it could be, because I kind of hinted at it with Einar dying. That they brought a bunch of gold and jewels and stuff as a sacrifice. Yeah. But yeah, it was gonna have to be either a buck ton of money or a magical item. And any magical item would do.
Is there a chance we might see that mechanic soon? A PvP style something, maybe? I don't know. Maybe? Could be.
We'll see. I mean, probably not in that, but
maybe.
I don't know. Will we in Saga? Maybe.
Will we die? Episode 1.
These are questions, indeed.
Shrug.
What about you, What about Nifrim? What about your Rose and Thorn?
Mine is kind of one in the same, in that Nifrim struggled with trusting anyone after dealing with the scavies and what happened with Alfred and the rest of them that attacked her. So she stayed away from group activities. And then on our way to the Colburn estate, when I don't think Steve intended for this to happen, but Nifrim was very interested in Oscar at this point, and he got his throat slit by a raccoon.
Literally
again,
just a bit so that I could say, and the raccoon pulls out an adorable little knife.
and I loved that moment though, because Nifrim could have been like, shut it down, I'm fucking out, I'm not gonna care about anyone ever again. And instead she went the other way and went, you know what? I don't want to waste any more time on pretenses. I'm going to tell him how I feel.
I do want to ask this to you, and again, Tyler, we'll get to you in just a second, but as in that regard, because again, Nifrim with her trauma and with the scavies, things like that, and again, kind of in this regard for this party too, you being the female representation in regards to this character and then also the story, did you find that that was a little bit harder sometimes to play with, or did it make it easier because, again, you were in this space with these individuals?
I share a lot of things with Nifrim, and trauma is one of them, but honestly, being able to play with these guys, I never really found it hard. I felt like they all, accepted my roleplay style and the things that the stories I wanted to tell with Nifrim. I will say one of my favorite moments that still brings tears to my eyes in the campaign was Josh's response to Nifrim's story. Josh was raging into his popcorn bucket, and I just spilled my popcorn everywhere. I'm mad in real life.
You know, we always need that in those moments of intensity, just to kind of remind us that we're human and that it's okay to kind of feel all the range of the emotions. So
Yes.
We love that, and so thank you for that. And then for Tyler, I guess what you can say Gunny's Rose and Thorn moment was for them in this campaign?
The Rose moment would definitely lead back to finding his family, being led into knowing that he's not alone in the world. But the Thorn side of things is the moment when we started hitting some higher level people, and it's his abilities weren't good enough, like the counterspell thing, where counterspells were getting counterspelled, and it started, we were on such a good roll that it started replaying some of those doubts back into his head of, oh crap, what am I gonna do now? And yeah, that's probably it.
Back to
I feel
plunging
that,
toilets,
no.
I guess.
It's like, oh man, well,
Back to
I can do so much, but I'm still not strong enough. We love the anime trope. I'm still not strong enough.
I'm so sorry,
Can always get
Tyler.
stronger.
After you joined, every caster that you went up against after you got counterspell was a high-level caster. I'm so sorry.
Whoops.
So I guess to piggyback then off of this, because I think this is a good segue here, if y'all had made it to level 20, if y'all had we're going all the way, we're hitting level 20, at least 20 plus even, how do you see these characters ramping up? How do you see because some of those when you get into those level 18, 19 abilities, things can get really broken fast. Again, I'm excited about next season. Let's see if maybe some of us get there. But you know what I mean? Sometimes you look at those late abilities and you're like, ooh, it'd be really cool to be able to, I don't know, blink and blow everyone up. So what do you think? We'll start with you, Tyler. What would Gunny turn into in terms of power?
Well, he'd probably just go ahead and level up Wizard the rest of the way.
Just go.
Let's get
just
them
go
high
for it.
level spell
Get them
slots.
high level, them level
Yeah.
6 level spell slots, easy.
Get you a level 8 dog.
I mean, let's see.
You probably, if you
'Cause
kept
what-
going wizard, you probably would have made a level 8 spell slot.
Because what type of
15,
wizard
so-
did you have? A wizard class specialty, like a school of wizardry, like invocation or conjuration?
School
or...
of transmutation
Yeah.
is what I
Ooh,
was.
so you would have gotten a
Feels perfectly
transmutation
funny.
stone. You would have gotten
Yeah.
that that late game transmutation stone
That is a game changer.
because what you can do revivify for free, and there's
Yeah.
all kinds of other
You can like
things
change
that it
the
does.
damage type of spells. You can turn spells into other spells.
Shape changer.
Yep.
Transmutation.
Because those
stone,
the
cantrip
transmutation
formulas.
stones are broken.
Yeah,
They
they're
can
crazy.
be so broken. And put it with an artificer that can craft multiple of them, I believe.
Yeah.
Because I think you can make. Well, like I think you
Yeah.
can make a max of like 4.
Yeah,
or
4
something
or
like that.
5 items.
So that's just dumb. So that's fun, I think, in terms of power and being able to be like, aha, we're fighting fire. We'll have some cold damage.
Yep.
Yeah. That is something that I
Yeah.
never actually got to take advantage of was elemental absorption.
Oh yeah.
I'd
Where you
thought
can-
about that as far as if things were shooting at us with lightning or energy, about getting that lightning back to them, and
Yeah.
like the dust of corrosion, like that was such a waste of fucking time.
Listen,
You
I
guys
think
were
we can
so
all
focused on that. I'm like, I have no bots in this dungeon.
listen. I feel like we have all looked at the end of a campaign and looked at our character sheet and our inventory and been like, "Dang it, I forgot I had this," or "Man, this would have
Every
been
time.
useful. This would have been useful." 100 episodes ago when I needed it. So
Yep.
Every time.
Yeah.
you
I
were
thought
not
about
alone.
pulling a dust. I thought about pulling a dust of corrosion bomb out in the last battle with Larson.
Oh, that would
But
have
I'm
been
like,
sick.
we're in the fucking ship in space.
Oh no!
I'm sure eating
I don't
that
want a
through
vacuum
metal
spike.
hull. Yeah.
If
fine.
Alien is any reference,
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, God. What about you, Nifrim?
Hey,
what
we know
level
that could've
20
been made of not metal.
was Nifrim look like, powered up and fully ripped?
I think she would have gone all the rest in on Artificer for sure. She can't get to a level 20 unless you go beyond level 20, but if she did, as far as Artificer goes, she'd be pretty badass. And she'd be using all that knowledge to figure out the Emir. She'd be
I
going
figure in
for
a
it.
world with limitless spell slots, it's probably pretty easy to level up quickly.
Did you end
Probably.
up reaching a level where you got the spell storing item?
Yes,
You never used it, did you?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay,
I didn't.
don't remember.
I maybe didn't say, but yeah, I
Oh,
definitely
okay.
used it.
Because that is a
if-
broken thing. You can
I will
like
say-
pump
Yes.
like 5
Yeah.
spells into any
Whenever-
object and then pass it around.
Whenever
Yeah.
I did Longstrider, that on all of us, that was
Nice.
me using that item.
Nice.
Hmm.
Speaking of Sam, Rachel, what do you think is there a late game paladin ability you were just like itching for that you never got to?
The expansion of the aura to 30 feet.
Ooh, yeah.
That's so awesome.
That is legendary.
Because then, most of our battles never got outside of 30 feet. So, but
You always had at
it's-
least Cedric there.
Yeah, it was difficult to keep everybody within the aura
Yeah.
with just 10 feet.
Right. Plus, I mean, who doesn't love divine smites at higher
Yeah.
levels?
Yes.
We love to see that, especially crit smites.
Those
Break
9th
everyone.
level smites were nuts.
I mean, I think when you build a paladin like that, and it can literally be like, I'm just gonna blink at you and you disintegrate. At level 7, what level 17?
Huh?
Something
Maybe.
like
What
that.
level? What was
Yeah,
Marcus's?
we were at,
it was
15.
we were at 15.
Yeah, so even at level 15, when you're
Yeah.
just melting like that, there's so
Yeah.
much room for that.
I even
Gross.
asked Steve, I was like, Are you sure? I normally can't get up to level 9, but if you say it's okay.
Yep. Upcast, baby.
I was like,
See
are
the
you
field.
sure?
Are you sure
You
about
want me
that?
to do this?
Are you sure? I think you ended up with the. Well, no, it might have been Sideric with the blade with the highest damage on the ship. It was one of you, like 150 or something.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I just wanted to be 100% clear with him.
Fair enough.
Fair.
But speaking of Sidric, what about you? In terms of that,
So
Josh?
it's funny that you asked this question because as soon as the game was over, I went into D&D Beyond and I leveled my character up to level 20.
Of course you did.
And
You'll need to level it back down.
I will. But
Spoilers.
so I went mostly fighter and a level in barbarian because I wanted that mindless rage for barbarian.
Mindless
Wanted the
rage is nuts.
rage, yeah.
Also, unrelenting rage is nuts.
And then my higher levels of fighter gave me a great stature, which gives me additional height, 3d4, and I did roll, and I rolled 3 4s, so I gained
So big.
a foot in height.
So what? So foot plus your enlarged form. So you're,
I would have been
So
like
you
14
were
feet
about
high.
what, 6 foot?
Yeah,
so
I was
you'd be
6'1".
7 foot, doubled to 14 foot,
Yeah.
enlarged again to fucking 28
30
foot.
feet high, yeah.
Yeah,
And then,
you said-
my giant smite strength gained a d8. I get another extra attack, so I'm hitting 3 times, maybe 6 if I'm, doing action surge.
Ugh.
there's something about a 30-foot tall Sidric skipping through the sands, like
Yes. Giant footprints.
Holding his elephant, cradling it
just
like
holding,
a baby.
Yeah,
cradling the elephant.
Go to sleep, little one.
A fully grown elephant in my arms.
I've got to get to Smedelheim. She's pregnant, and we're not using the teleporter. She's too far along for that.
One day you're going to become a barbarian elephant.
And then you shoved cobbler in its face.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right. Well, so
Someone
again,
draw that.
Steve, you again, 2 people we haven't really talked about a lot tonight, Oscar and Ovar. Do you feel
were
like
they here?
Yeah,
Oh,
apparently
shit.
they've been here the whole time.
By the way, guys, we're totally here. Oh, yeah, we're totally here, too. No one asked me questions.
Because again, these are brothers that were retired once, came back, did the thing, fell in love, had a whole nother adventure. Like, do you see them getting incredibly busted like mom and dad at all? Because mom and dad were level 20, max all the
For
way.
sure. I think I had, what was Oscar, 17? I think it was 17 and Orvar was 18 when I wrote,
So they were close
when I
already.
made them. They were pretty close. They were meant to be, end of adventure kind of. They already had their adventures, but they totally, I mean, honestly, Oscar he definitely leveled up after that last fight and stuff. And I mean, neither of them multi-class, so he would have gotten that full rune knight. Orvar would have gotten the full rune knight, which gets super fucking crazy because you get all the fucking runes. Oscar, like, high-level artificer is pretty fucking dope. It's pretty fucking dope.
I mean, when you have a power couple like between Nifrim and Oscar and that much brains, I'm sure that
they can make anything.
That literally, I feel like, again, if you think about, we have it on Earth, like, I'm sure they invented something similar, if not equivalent.
Absolutely.
Between the 3 of them and Gunny, like, no, like, I feel like Thorin's okay. I feel like,
Thorin's doing
there's conveyor belt sushi on Thorin, I feel like.
Oh my god,
like,
of course there is.
We got the technology. Isn't that the standard of all functioning societies is conveyor belt sushi? I think so.
Real quick.
So,
Letty asked how old Sideric was by the end of the campaign. I suggested to Steve that after we defeated the big bad and started to go back to Thorin, to have a paper bird, come in and be like, it's a letter from his mom being like, happy 17th birthday.
I forgot to
Or
do
actually-
that. I was gonna.
Actually, no, I said happy 20th birthday because
Yeah.
Cedric forgot how old he actually was.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, so
totally
he's actually
19
been-
the whole time.
He's been 19. He got the 9 and 6 look so familiar. Like, obvious.
upside down.
Listen, it's easy to get confused. I feel like that we could say that
Reading
that's
is
canon.
hard.
Reading is hard.
We've been saying it
I
this
was
whole
in
campaign.
16, I
Math
was
is hard.
91.
Well, so I do have a few final things, but again, these are kind of secret surprise. So before we jump into the last little bit of tonight's festivities, that again has been such a joy to be able to be here and ask you guys these questions and just, get to, explore this world a little bit more. Steve, now that we are getting to the closing end of Skald, what's next for Forge of Lore? And what do we have coming up?
We have nothing. I'm just kidding, kind of. So we're gonna take a quick little 2-week break. We're in pre-production for Saga. It is a lot of work, guys, and almost all of it's done by this one down here. She's our artist, our editor, and now also the DM and writer, and she's having to. You guys got to realize, Skald. We were in pre-pro for.
3 months.
We started in like end of March, and
It
released our
was 3
first
full
episode
months.
in August. We recorded
Yeah.
the first episode at the beginning of August, and it's a lot of fucking work. We're making the animation, introducing you to the world. Well, she is. She's making the intro. She's doing all the
Steve's
character
gonna
art.
have
It's
to-
If
done.
you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen previews on Emmy's art, it's
Emmy's art stuff.
Yeah,
When
Emmy's art
I'm
stuff, you should,
there, God.
because it's really cool.
She
like
hasn't been streaming because she's
I
been
saw
too
the
busy.
seed being planted. Whatever the
Oh,
seed is, tell us about the seed.
So good. So we're gonna take 2 weeks. And then we've got a couple things before Saga. Oh, thank you, OG. So on let's see, that was May 21st. 3 Wednesdays from now. Record this the 3rd. We will have, and it might be 1 episode, it might be 2, it depends how long these goofballs take. PvP! We're gonna pit the Jotun Slayers against each other.
Who will win in a fight between the Jotun Slayers? Who's going
That's
to
right.
razzle dazzle?
Who?
It's gonna be Gunny.
So we're gonna take bets in chat for gambling channel points. So be sure you catch it
We're not
live.
gambling over here. Gambling's bad.
Gambling's totally bad, but if you want to gamble your channel points, be sure to show up on whatever day I just said, May 21st, Wednesday, May 21st, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. The Jotun Slayers will be fighting each other to the death. One will stand. Who will it be?
Gunny. It'll be Gunny.
You'll
Sorry,
pay for
guys.
the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
I'm gonna throw my prediction out here. Here's my prediction based off of everyone's abilities and what I could think of. And God, I feel like it's got to be between Marcus and Cedric, and I feel like Cedric pulls it off because of the resistances. I don't
My
know.
money's
I
on
feel like-
Gunny.
I don't
My
know.
money's on Gunny because he's a wizard tank. You guys realize what that's
That is
fucking
true.
broken.
That is
It's
true.
broken.
I don't know.
Wizard tank.
Cedric, does Cedric have? Okay, Steve. Question: will Cedric have the sword in this PvP?
They will have what they have and the levels that they have at the end of the campaign. Which means Cedric has the bloody sword.
Fantastic.
But I can
He
only
might
use it once.
one-shot someone. I don't know.
You
Who
know, I
knows?
think I've got this because I'm gonna cast heroism and yeah, sorry.
Never mind.
Mm.
Money's on
Alright.
Emmy.
Listen,
Oh my god, no. Cast Sanctuary and just sit there the whole time.
I figured that's what Gunny's gonna do.
No one can
so-
hurt me until I hurt you.
So that will be the 21st.
The 21st.
It may bleed into the 28th, but if so, then the 4th, and if not on the 28th, our lovely Ray will be DMing 2 or 3 part miniseries.
Oh, do I have something planned? Oh, maybe.
We know nothing about it.
Seriously, I
We're
haven't
just
talked
like,
to them
hey
at
Ray,
all.
you want to do a one shot?
Legit.
Yeah, cool. Let us know.
I'm torn right now, and I'm actually gonna probably put a message and poll for the players once we wrap up a little bit later. But I have 2 options, so we'll see what everyone's feeling. But it should be fun. I'm excited. I'm grateful for the honor, and also a
Very
good
excited.
little distraction while we all get ready for Saga, because that's
Yes.
gonna be fun.
And then if pre-pro is done, the next week will be Saga. If not, we might take one more week. We'll just stay tuned. The easiest way to keep up to date, because we're terrible at updating socials, ain't nobody got time for that. Discord.forgeoflore.com.
Discord.
It's an amazing
Discord.
fucking place. It's so fun. It's a great place.
Thank
I
you,
just
OG.
added new channels for Saga today. And it included a little teaser for the characters. Don't you want to go see them? We're not posting it anywhere else.
Will say,
Discord.forgeoflore.com.
and just real quick, and this is me stepping down here for a bit, because again, real quick, guys, I've been in a bunch of Discords. All right, there's the D&D community on Twitch is expansive and vast, and there are thousands upon thousands at which you might be invited to. You will not find a more active and more strong community than in this Discord. There are people saying good morning. There are people that are actually posting updates about life, food,
We're
music,
in there
everything
every
in
fucking
between.
day.
So if you want to actually get in that community and jump on in here with us, please, for the love of God, feel free to do so. It's so fun. And again, there's always something, and which I find interesting, because some Discords you join and it's only active when they're live or right before they go live. And so to actually have conversation and actually be able to talk about characters or show art or anything, it's always, to me, it's such a nice experience. So
I am literally in there
Discord.
all day. While I work, I have Discord open and I'm watching it. I might be biased. I'm in 30 D&D and actual play Discords, and ours is easily the most
Listen,
interactive.
And it's made up of you beautiful people.
When you're the best, you're the best. Guys, I'm just saying. Sorry, I call it like I see it.
Don't forget our most helpful part of it. You can look for groups, or even put up your own looking for groups.
Games.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Games.
It spawned 3 or 4 games already.
I think the biggest thing for a lot of us, and not to I'm gonna step on a soapbox real quick, community is everything right now. Being close with each other, making sure that you are looking out for your fellow man, your fellow person, your fellow, just individual. I think we need that. So to be in a place where that is okay,
Amen.
definitely always need those spaces. So get in that Discord if you're not already. So Steve, anything else that we can look forward to? Again, you already said it. If you are in the Discord, you can already see the kind of teaser of the outline of all of our characters, because guess what? Emmy's just so amazing at what she does. She's already drawn the character art, but we can't share it with you yet. You're just gonna have to hang out.
And guess where it's gonna be first? Well, it's gonna be on Twitch first, but then it's gonna be on Discord.
Yeah. Should be fun. All right.
Tease.
Anything else, Steve,
That's it.
that you want?
I'm ready
All
for my
right.
surprise. Surprise me.
So, in character, I will say that at the end of the campaign, that again, you saved Thorin and you all went about your lives. I'd say at least a good year and a half after these events, you all in your heads get a nice little sending message, or you get a little word in your brains that's just oh, so I see how it is. You save the world. You never call. You never come and say hello to us. You never mention us. Or who are we? What did we do? Except feed you, clothe you, inspire you. It's fine. The message ends. You get another one. But I guess that's how these things are. Sometimes you forget about your mother. You just leave them alone to grow old and forget them. It's all right. Hopefully you're doing well. All the love. You all of a sudden all probably feel just a tad bit guilty that Nana and Ovid, crap, we needed to run over there. And of course they welcome you in. Oscar and Ovar would definitely be there, and you definitely catch them up.
I'm totally here.
You totally catch them up on your adventures because, again, Ovid, definitely wants to chronicle this and, get with Braggy and make sure that the histories are accurate to all of your stories. And you probably for days would spend with him as he's asking you questions about every single little detail about your journeys, your adventures, the things you saw, how y'all discovered things, chronological, like just trying to, like a true historian, just trying to keep a record of the Jotun Slayers and making sure that that legend is bound perfect. So with that being said, and I believe it was even asked for, like, would there be a wedding toast between Nifrim and Oscar? Would there be a moment where everyone's just kind of gathered together in this celebration? And would Ovid say something? Yes, he would. In fact, he wrote something for this very occasion because, again, after the chronicles and after getting everything, he decided that he needed one good final send off to the Jotun Slayers, and what better way to send this out than at the wedding of his son between him and Nifrim. And so if you're in that Discord, as I mentioned, I'm about to post it right now. What?
Discord.forgelore.com?
And he holds up a glass.
I'm gonna cry.
He holds up a glass, and as you all, there's a moment of silence as he kind of clears his throat and reads out. So sit and sing such sagas of song, kinship and knowledge, keeping to kindness, ancestors always adventuring, ever ascending, laughing and loving, living lasting lives, daring to dream, to deepen a destiny. Forget not the foes that foolishly fought. Remember the reason to raise your horn's rim. Impressive ideas inspire independence. Employ elegance. Elevate others' learning, for now nears the night, now nears the end. But do not shed a tear, my friend. Departing yet daring, we dwell in a dream and dusk. See us off till we say farewell, for we shall return with many more sagas to tell. Skald, friends.
Skald.
Skald.
And again, if you look at the image, the first letter, of course, of each line spells Skald, friends.
Ray. What the hell?
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight, for answering these questions with the Jotun Slayers, with Steve, with the entire cast. It has been my pleasure to be here tonight to help facilitate your questions, to get more answers, and of course, to put a little, for now, end to the story of the Jotun Slayers, the world of Thorin, and the saga of Skald. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. We appreciate you and hope that you have a good rest of your evening. Skald friends.